saying.
Okay.
I expect more out of stand-up. So, you know, you can lower your bar and live in that and accept all that. And that's fine with me. I don't care. But to tell me that, you know, who am I to judge? I'm me to judge. Now, if you want to, you know, exist and watch stand-up be watered down to any moron that can talk to a room full of morons, that's fine. I mean, I think everybody should be able to. I mean, I think crowd work's an important tool, usually for crowd management. You should know how to do it in case shit goes down in the room. But, you know, a fairly clever teenager can do crowd work. I did it in high school. So my judgment about crowd work as a comic is I think it's very funny. I can do it if I want to do it. I can do it if I need to do it. But I do think, you know, if you keep lowering the bar and audiences are expecting you to just talk to them, that's not the comedy that I respect or that I want to do. And I think that, you know, once everything loses its meaning because of this flow you're talking about, that it becomes the mediocrity is just abound, and also things that are great just kind of go away with the flow. There's so much shit.
Can I ask you your opinion? I've also been seeing, not about crowd work, but I've been seeing like Jeselnik having an issue with people like Tony Hinchcliffe, who he's saying uses profanity or just shock value comedy. What's your thoughts on that?
Well, at this point, it's lazy and sloppy and hackneyed. You know, to be in a fucking club where, you know, I'm walking down the hall at the comedy club, at the Comedy Store, and, you know, in one room, someone's doing their bit about trans people, and then I get down the hall and there's someone on stage going, well, I guess I got to do my bit about trans people. Like, no, you don't. You don't. It's hack now. I mean, you know, you guys got the freedom you wanted. You can now say whatever you want. They're defeated. Their rights have been denied. The policies that you guys encouraged with your stupid material are now policy. And now, like, you know, half the people under the umbrella of anti-woke, we've lost a tremendous amount of democratic-leaning ideas and movements. So whether they knew it or not, that's what they were spearheading. So now it's reality, and you want to still keep kicking them? Go ahead.
I don't know that the comedians have had that much power.
Are you fucking out of your mind?
No, I'm being serious.
Joe Rogan. I'm not gonna.
No, go ahead. Go ahead.
You know, you can't separate. Like, if the movement is like, you know, we're being censored. No, you're not. You're not. There's no constitutional censorship issue with your free speech. You say things, and in a democratic shit show of an environment, you know, like Twitter or whatever, there's cultural pushback. And I'm not saying that it was pretty bad in terms of, you know, people getting canceled and stuff. And I agree that was an issue. But that's a specific issue. To frame it as some sort of free speech problem was a misdirect. It wasn't. It wasn't a free speech problem. It was that people were getting cultural pushback. That is not a constitutional issue. No one was being put in jail for saying anything. That's a free speech issue. But my problem is you're going to start talking about anti-woke, and that's going to be your point of view. That's going to be your ideological, you know, grounding for what you do. Okay, that's fine. But why does it have to be the same four fucking things? You know, it's like they talk about the same shit. And I don't know a better definition of hack. I mean, after a certain point, it's like, you know, what juice does the word retard really have? How much shit do you have to give trans people? You know, what is your big problem with gay people? What's your big problem with women? It's like, what is this, the fucking 80s again? And it's so, to me, the problem is that language evolves. Okay, we don't use the word chink anymore. Well, maybe some of them do. You don't use the word oriental anymore. You know, you don't use the word colored anymore. Is that, you know, in a democratic world, people learn to treat other people with respect, communities, and live with it. Look, I think you can say whatever you want. I don't care. I have no, you know, I've been filthy. I've said all the bad things on stage. I've been doing this a long time, under the radar in a lot of ways, and I have tried everything. I've done things that were inappropriate on stage. I've said things that were inappropriate on stage, and my experience with people receiving those things and talking to people, and I've evolved the way I present comedy. I think when you talk about Jeselnik, he's just saying that, isn't there a creativity workaround that could be funny without creating this juice that just comes from using words that used to be kind of triggering and are less now because the dominant cultural force is now slightly fascistic and leaning towards alienating those voices. So now that we've crossed that hump into what we are now, aren't you just kicking someone when they're down and just being a hack? because there is no real progressive pushback anymore. They've won. Right. So that side has won. They've won culture, and they've won the presidency. And now you have a lot of frightened people that believe in what was once democracy in terms of respecting all types of people. That's kind of gone. So do you continue along that track of like being the victim of some liberal conspiracy when it clearly is over? I don't know.
All right, you assholes.
All right, you assholes. Enter the thing now, assholes. Welcome, assholes. Well, everybody, welcome a bunch of assholes. Come on. Welcome. Bob, that's you. That's your cue. There you go. I'll do it for you.
Oh, dude, I'm trying to get the start of the show right here. Trying to get him to get in position.
Oh,
I'll be on cam in a minute. I'm actually
just does
eating,
what he
and
does,
I don't want people to be subjected to me eating, so I'm gonna be off cam for a second.
Some people are into that, man.
I know.
Hey, how's it going, you guys?
Yeah, I'm not here to kink shame. I'm not.
I am. That's all I'm here to do.
That's all I do every day.
Whatever you're into, it's fucking disgusting, you pervert. Whatever it is. Yeah, welcome. How's everybody's week going?
Okay. You know,
My computer's
living the
dying,
dream.
so that's good, right?
Well, it's okay because the economy is dying too.
Yeah.
So we'll all have plenty of
money.
money.
The world is dying. Civilization is collapsing. Really, there's bigger problems there.
Pretty soon, I'll have to film from my phone. I feel like that's the direction it's going. So.
No, yeah. Fortunately, my computer's doing all right, but yeah, if it fails.
Decent PCs are much cheaper than I expected them to be because I just got a new one finally. Because I've been needing one for a while, but the one I got is basically it's generally better than the one that was a custom built one about a decade ago, like a custom gaming PC that was a badass back then. Of course, now it's all obsolete. But the one I got is like just a fucking standard PC that it outperforms it. So
Yeah. This one that I've been using for the last probably 8 years is an old gaming PC, and it's reached the end of its life cycle. So
yep. Well, hopefully you're able to get another one because man, you need to keep up with your channel. Your channel's doing
Yeah, dude.
Well,
holy crap! Oh,
yeah, no, I appreciate it. I've got I have a Chromebook that I can use in the meantime, but I need an actual PC. So we'll see. I'm trying to fundraise right now. Like last night I did a fundraiser for my computer. I was like, yeah, all donations are going to buy me a new computer. Essentially, is what it is.
Well, so Chris Pratt, he's officially not. I don't even consider him a Chris anymore. I don't think he's on the list.
I mean, he's always been the worst Chris. I mean, has there really been competition for worst Chris?
Well, look, I didn't defend him necessarily, but I whenever people be like, oh, he's part of this church that blah blah. I'm like, okay, so if you're gonna think that way, then you need to disown and basically anybody that's part of the Catholic Church too, just the regular old Catholic Church, because they have a bunch of fucked up beliefs too. That you know what I mean, like that people just don't think about or talk about. So I remember
I was just gonna say I remember when he left Anna Faris and Catherine Schwarzenegger, I think is his new wife. I don't remember, but when they had a kid, he had a post about how he has this healthy newborn child. And at first I didn't think too much. Then people point out that he had a child with special abilities with Anna Faris, and they're like using that language really kind of seems to be targeting that child and kind of crapping on them. And it's like I never thought of it that way, but like that is kind of
I didn't either. And honestly,
he came out and he apologized.
That's one of the things that I don't.
Okay,
I didn't really see I don't feel like you should not be thankful. I don't think it inherently implies. Like basically, I think he wasn't thinking about it. It was, I mean, this is me being reasonable here. I don't feel like I don't know. People got upset about that when I was like, whatever. He's fucking
Well,
happy.
I
born,
get
whatever.
it, but then he came out and said, "I didn't even think about that. I apologize." And for me, that was good enough. That was good.
Well,
But
last
now-
night I read through his controversies, and I'm like, almost everything he did could be explained away somehow, except for the thing we're going to talk about today. Like today
Right,
is
this one where it's
no
like,
explaining
okay,
it,
he's basically just said Trump derangement syndrome without saying it.
yeah.
That's essentially what he did. Was he said, "Oh, you got TDS." So he's just some fucking random commenter, basically. And we can talk about his connection to the administration, familial connection.
Mm-hmm.
It's in the thumbnail for anybody that doesn't know. And that's just because he's married to a Schwarzenegger, and Schwarzenegger's married to Kennedy, and all that. So, but it's stupid. It's stupid. It's just really he basically in one breath says, "Oh, I don't, we don't even talk about politics. It's not a big deal," and then like shits on people who criticize Trump, essentially.
Yeah.
So
I haven't gone into the full details, so I am interested.
Well, let's go ahead and look at it. Oh, I should have had a source ready, but I am not prepared lately. Got a lot of stuff going on.
Well, don't worry. As we go into the episode, I also have some box office numbers I want to break into, because it turns out there is a huge bomb that nobody wants to talk about.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
Just yes says Chris gone MAGA. I don't know if it's gone MAGA. He might have been MAGA already. That's not even really what he's doing. He's basically excusing the behavior of RFK Jr. You'll see when we talk about it here in a second, saying that like the only reason people are criticizing him is because of his association with Trump, which is extremely misleading in context.
All right. So, during an appearance on Bill Maher's podcast, it's already kind of a bad look. Pratt said he doesn't see why people are so hard on his wife's. Oh, God damn it. No, I don't want to fucking ad right now, man. He doesn't see why people are so hard on his wife's. Where I lost my spot. Controversial cousin, who he said comes across as a great, funny guy at Kennedy family gatherings. That's great, Chris. I'm glad to hear that, because if you've watched the most recent John Oliver, you know that he's not a great guy.
Right.
I mean, if you know anything about the guy, it's pretty obvious. He's clearly somebody who, is from a family that obviously went through a lot of shit and had a lot of trauma a long time ago. He was born into a fucking, just like rich people chaos and trauma. And I, have empathy for that. But like since then, his life has gone, I mean, he was a drug addict, and I'm not judging that, but I'm saying that like, he's one of these people that they get done with drugs, presumably, and they find something else to kind of latch onto, that is also harmful, but maybe to other people instead of themselves.
Right.
Like Nerdrotic, for example.
Yeah. Like
who
dealing meth and then dealing anti-woke grift. Yay.
Mm-hmm. And he, anyway, let's just get here to this thing here. He is losing some fans, apparently. So, he's a vaccine skeptic. This is what this calls him. He's a vaccine denier. He's denied that vaccines, like he's more than a vaccine denier. He's like a vaccine conspiracist.
Right.
It's insane.
Well,
listen, I think it's always important to stress. I think it's fine to be skeptical of that stuff, but when you have overwhelming scientific evidence that has like debunked all these skeptic like theories and stuff like that, stop fucking pushing them. Like
the fact that he in his confirmation, the fact that he said this, what Sean is pointing out here, shows that he has absolutely no historical context for how vaccines and medicine has been deployed in the U.S. and then also just by extension no sensitivity to the real fucking crimes that have been done to black people with under the guise of being medical treatment or whatever. But yeah, it's so.
Well, I mean, the other thing is that he actually said on the record when he was under oath that people shouldn't take health advice from him.
Right.
He said that under oath. When they were asking him about his opinions on vaccines, he goes, look, I don't think people should take health advice from me. And I'm like, you are literally the person in charge of determining the health advice for the entire country. That's what you're doing. That's your position.
Yep.
You're just judging him because of facts. I think that's unfair.
Let's see. There's a 30-minute clip of segment from John Oliver that I highly recommend. Like, honestly, of all the shit that's going on in the Trump administration, there's a lot of stuff that makes the news every day. Trump makes the news every day. There's the trying to start wars. There's sending ICE all over the place, and there's blah blah. And then now there's a more fun aspect now that Newsom is kind of giving it back to him. That's pretty fun.
Yeah.
But I would really recommend that you eat your vegetables, so to speak, and watch the John Oliver segment on Maha, Make America Healthy Again, the fucking RFK Jr. Side of things, because I think that's possibly far more could be way more. Lots of consequences from this shit. It's not going to be good. It was already stuff.
Can we also talk about how the right doesn't want celebrities talking about stuff, but then they support this? You know what I mean?
Yeah. Like they hate when, like, you can always tell whenever they complain about so and so went political. It's like, so probably some celebrities showed basic human empathy, and then and then they turn around and praise it when somebody goes political and says some really bigoted shit.
Sketchy. That's an interesting point, because I believe the comment about the vaccines or whatever. Some of the most vulnerable people when it comes to this kind of stuff are boomers and elderly people, and that is a big chunk of their voting base. So almost everything they're doing, to be quite honest, primarily affects the people that voted for them. Like, we're talking about things like government assistance, heavily affects areas of people that voted for them.
I mean,
healthcare,
if it only affected
hospitals.
them, then we would just consider it kind of a Darwinian problem if it only affected them, right?
No, yeah, I agree with that, but I just think it's interesting that that they voted for this, and almost every single thing that is in their policies negatively affects them. Mm-hmm. If history is to be written about this, if we make it through this situation or whatever, and they look back at this, they're going to wonder, like we do a lot of times with some of the things we've read in history, how people were stupid enough to vote against their own best interests. Like, how were they convinced to do that? I mean, it's the fake culture war shit, right?
I mean, this past election was really eye-opening to me, and frustrating and disturbing. And now we're just living through all the shit that we warned would probably happen.
Yeah.
And
I mean, it's like the 0.002% trans people that participate in sports.
That's a major issue, apparently.
Yeah, that's a big issue. Or the border situation, which was already being dealt with anyway, but apparently, we needed visuals of that happening. We needed to see people going out, like Christine Noem and stuff, making viral clips of stuff like that. It's just more of the same shit, man.
Apparently, we need ICE breaking in and deporting every brown person in the country. Like,
right.
What is this?
Well, you guys don't even understand that that's just the beginning of their job, because now that with their expanded budget and all of Trump's, he's currently field testing just martial law in DC. It's not going so well for him, I don't think.
No, and actually I'm happy to see that it's not. So
thank God.
That's good. Yeah.
Well, because the fact is there was no overwhelming crime mission that they were going to, crime is fucking down. That is the biggest, other than scarcity of resources, that's the biggest lie that people believe all the time. Mm-hmm. That crime has just continued to rise, or it's been it's seen a spike. It saw a spike during COVID. Other than that, there's been a downward trend for 30 fucking years.
They're not getting the clips they wanted out of DC. They wanted clips of people being arrested. They're not getting that. So
part of the issue
they're wanting people to do
crime. Part of the issue of crime is that crime gets over publicized because it's clickbaitable. It's like, oh, look at this big event. So crime gets over talked about in the news and stuff like that. So people think crime's a big deal when crime has statistically been going down over the years consistently.
Yeah. Yeah. So I found this short. Check this out.
Top advisor to RFK.
So Callie Means is the one of the top advisors to RFK Jr. And then his sister is also a big influence, or actually part of it. I don't know. Mm-hmm. It's a weird little cult they got there, man.
And Callie is a probably okay for sure, RFK, right? Which makes sense given, as he will tell you, he's the one who convinced Kennedy to join the winning campaign.
I was in a sweat tent with him in Austin at a campaign event 6 months before, and I just had this strong vision of him standing with Trump, and how what RFK represents is actually what Trump represents, and actually what almost every American's feeling, which is this frustration and this rigged thing and this thing that doesn't quite feel right, that you can't quite put your finger on.
Okay, so since we want to avoid copyright, hopefully I do want to comment on that, because yeah, there's a lot of that's the seed, the kernel of reality and truth that they've managed to, that I think a lot of Trump supporters or whatever have fallen for, which is there is something going on where it feels fucked up that, you know, health insurance is, that we even have to pay for it at all. You know, in every aspect, the government is failing people and has been for some time. It's not Trump's fault on its own. But then they take that and they go, okay, we're going to fix that. We're the solution. And yet, if you watch this thing and see the kind of shit that RFK is focused on, it's so fucking absurd. Like they're considering wins as things like, you know, getting ice cream taken out of schools or something. You know, it's like, that's far from the fucking biggest health issues. And, or having,
Wasn't this the facts over feeling crowd? Wasn't that this whole group was like, well, I mean, your feelings aren't facts? Like that was what they did for 10 years, right?
That quote was made famous by somebody who just constantly makes videos about how his feelings get hurt by, you know, some fucking politician or some piece of media.
Yeah. But I mean, it's just interesting because they would argue that trans people aren't really men, and, you know, trans women aren't women and trans men aren't men, because we don't coddle and affirm feelings, right? We don't do that. That's not what their party does. And literally everything they've been doing in the last couple of years has been feelings over facts. Now it's all about the vibe shift for them. You know, I would argue it's always been that, but they've never really leaned into it like they are now. So it's just really interesting to me that now we're supposed to be concerned about feelings. Now that's where we're supposed to go. That's the direction we're supposed to go.
Well, the
shift happens so seamlessly.
The reason it's happened is because they won. So like before, they're constantly talking about what they don't want, what they don't like, what they want to get rid of, what's bad, what they think is bad, all that. Now they won, so like they relaxed a bit, and now they get to talk about you know, all the wins or whatever it is. And it's like, there's no fucking wins, man. None of this is rooted in constitutionality, law, fucking morality, anything good. And you guys are,
Okay, I hope this goes without saying, but I would rather be anywhere on Earth than in a sweat tent with RFK. I'd rather be in a dumpster full of glass and cockroaches. I'd rather be in a flight where half the passengers are babies and half are Mel Gibsons. I'd rather be in Scottsdale. Scottsdale. Callie Means is constantly claiming the whole system surrounding health and food is rigged, and one of his key bona fides in arguing that is that he used to be involved in rigging it. He said that he was a lobbyist and consultant, and that one of my big accounts was the American Beverage Association, which is the front group for Coke. Here is what he says he did there.
Working for Coke, I helped steer money to the American... Coca-Cola. Yeah, working for Coca-Cola, they actually pay money to the American Diabetes Association. They actually pay money to the American Academy of Pediatrics. If there's one thing the American Diabetes Association, which sets the standard of care for diabetes management, should be doing, they should be saying, we're not going to accept money from Coke.
Now, look, I'm not going to sit here and argue that Coca-Cola is a good company. They are absolutely terrible, to the point that if I told you they had a section on their Wikipedia page titled Colombian Death Squad Allegations, you might even believe me, which is good because they actually do. But people who've looked into Callie's origin story have come away with some, let's call them, questions. For starters, when reporters reached out to the two firms where he worked, each insisted they didn't represent Coke or its trade group at the time. Now, Callie insisted to us that he did do this work, though not directly for Coke or the trade group, but for an unspecified coalition that they funded and that he didn't name, which, as you'll note, is already much less specific than what he confidently blew Tucker's mind with there. And for what it is worth, former colleagues of his have no idea what he is talking about, with one saying maybe there was a 6-month window when we all blacked out, this client came in, and Callie became the whisperer behind the scenes, plotting a supposedly nefarious role with soda executives. But one thing they definitely do remember is that Callie Means apparently used to walk around the office saying, Callie means business. And I probably could have saved us a whole lot of time if I just said that at the start. I wouldn't have needed to show you the Tucker appearance or even the RFK sweat tent detail if I just said, this is Cali Means. And he apparently used to walk around saying Cali means business. You would know all you need to know to accurately conclude he is a douche.
And that's just scratching the surface. Like he believes insane shit. There was a clip of him where he was on some show, and a lady called in, talking about because they're trying to remove stuff off of food stamps, like very specific things from food stamps being eligible, and I think that's kind of I mean, obviously there's some stuff that it would be ideal if but at the same time, the reason they don't do that or shouldn't do that is because it's just like a slippery slope. And once you start removing one or two things, then you're going to remove all kinds, and you're essentially telling people what they have to eat. And it's, but whatever. The point is this lady called in
and food stamps for all. So
yeah, I mean, same. But like, so this lady calls in and she's like, what about people that live in food deserts? What are people supposed to do if the best thing they can do sometimes is go to a dollar store and like, they don't have, sometimes snacks, stuff like that is just what they have to, for snacks. Like they'll have unhealthy kind of stuff or whatever. And that's the best some people can do, which is a very real fucking thing. And he like gets fucking really indignant with her on this call. And he's just like, so are you telling me that American mothers will not want to save their children from dying or whatever? And it's just like, that's not what she asked at all. He just skips right over. He just fucking becomes completely deranged at her. And it's like, oh, okay, he's that kind of guy. Gotcha. That makes sense that he supports, he's with Trump now. But yeah, he's crazy. RFK Jr. is crazy. That dude's sister is crazy. She might end up being the fucking Surgeon General. It's nuts, man. Yeah.
Like the administration picks. Like if I were to go through and pick like the worst, I don't think I'd come up with as bad as they're picking.
Because like the first time it was like there were decent people that knew what they were doing, and they would even though if they weren't for Trump, they would still kind of want to be part of the administration. It seemed like if they could, because people wanted to do the right thing. And now I think that because of the Project 2025 shit, they figured out we can't let anybody that's not for our bullshit around us. And so you end up with a bunch of idiots and fucking grifters, and that's it. Yeah. Linda McMahon, for fuck's sake.
I was just looking up, like places where food deserts exist, they've actually had to change how they ring up items because they can't afford to not take EBT on some stuff. Because you got to think those businesses, this is the consequences of that. A lot of those businesses, upwards of 60% of their customers are people who are on government assistance. So they can't afford to stay in business if they restrict so many items from the things that the cards can pay for, because then it would require them to remove things from stores and close stores for other people, because the government is basically subsidizing these businesses through government assistance. Anyway. Hey, Jerry.
Hello.
How's it going?
It is going well. I'm hanging in there. Hell of a day. Hope you guys are all doing well.
Yeah. Doing all right. Well, I mean, for now, we were just talking about how the national, health department that's responsible for so much stuff. And really, you don't realize how much stuff something like that is responsible for until you get these kind of people running it. And then you're like, oh no, they're doing what now?
But they're also quietly rehiring people in key positions. I don't know if you guys have seen that or not, but like the, the aviation stuff, like the people that are in control of like the terminals and stuff, they're getting rehired. People in government positions that were fired because of Doge are getting rehired. Of course, they're not talking about that. They're not. It's not a talking point. But almost everything they did to wipe jobs out, they've had to walk back to some degree and hire a lot of those people back into their positions. So,
what do you guys plan to do with your Doge checks?
Oh, I thought that I would buy.
We all got one, right? We all got.
Yeah.
No, I think mine is withheld because I still haven't gotten my Soros check either. So I think I must not be in the system.
It's almost like these rich guys are just scamming people and taking government money. Like, no.
I thought maybe as one of the foot soldiers in the transgender Antifa agenda that I would be well financed, but apparently,
yeah. I mean, the content you make, I would assume that you were like really high level pay.
Oh, well, thanks.
Had
a new video.
Ryan, we're talking about America stuff, Ryan. How's it look from over there, man? We looking all right?
It's like your house isn't on fire, but also you can't pay your mortgage. I don't know what that is. It's like
I think that's where you just kind of let the problem solve itself, right?
Yeah.
And figure out.
You know the expression between a rock and a hard place? It's just like between a rock and another rock.
Yeah.
RXNV, the problem is that there are places in this country where there's no other option. There's a lot of documentaries you can look up here on YouTube for free, where places like Dollar General and Dollar Tree and stuff are the only grocery stores people have.
There are places in cities, in urban areas, i.e., where a lot of people of color live. That there's just like all they have is like bodegas and fucking little corner stores and shit. And
so the correct government response would be doing a study to figure out how to fix the food deserts. Correct? Like that would be the correct thing to do. But their concept of doing the right thing is just removing the ability for people to get assistance in these spaces. So they're not actually fixing a problem. They're not correcting a problem. It's not about health. They're creating new problems.
I mean, the key is farm subsidies, because it was the Nixon administration that changed farm subsidies. It used to be farms would get subsidies based on what they produced and what the country needed.
Right.
It was much more complex. Nixon changed it so it was just based on, if you produce more, you get more subsidies. So farms started dedicating themselves to corn. So now we have all these corn byproducts, and it's fucking ridiculous. We could just be growing fucking sugar. We have high fructose corn syrup. And
I will never argue against wanting people to be healthier. I think that's an absolutely great thing for people to want. But it's kind of subjective to a degree when you're talking about like the idea of living in a free country and then also forcing people to eat certain foods. Like I think that's an argument we could be having. But I think the bigger thing is we need to look at why food deserts exist and why this country itself doesn't. There's a lot of other countries around the world that do better jobs of keeping their communities healthy. But we've never. I want to be clear. Like even when we had people in office that I supported, there was never a big push to actually make the country healthier, and we're still not in that situation right now.
Yes.
Although saying that, there was a medium push when Obama was in charge. When Michelle Obama was pushing for vegetables.
She got criticized for that. She got criticized for that.
Not just criticized, though. I mean, they went after her. They set the dogs on it. But it's not just about that, though. I mean, the only way to do it, RFK is such an idiot because he doesn't know what he's talking about.
Literally has brainworms.
Well, yeah. I mean, there's a clip of him on Rogan where he blames the Spanish flu on, it wasn't the flu, it was actually the vaccine. And the vaccine he's talking about wasn't invented for another 10 years. He's just talking absolute shit. And people don't have a check on it. But we've got a weird situation in this country where we're not as free as America, and so the government does step in. Because we've got not quite as bad, but a similar problem with an overweight population. So they brought in a sugar tax on sugary drinks. And there was a big push so if you buy Diet Coke, it's cheaper than regular Coke. And I know people will say, oh, well, Diet Coke's not healthy either. But if the option is... but it's healthier. It's better than drinking the sugary stuff.
Yeah, I was just going to say that the issue is. I was just going to say the issue is with a tax like that, you're treating the symptom and not the problem.
Absolutely, yeah, and that's why I don't think it's really worked, because paying like a few extra pennies for sugary drinks. But
I would say you can't. Oh, sorry, I thought you were done. Go ahead.
I was just going to say also our culture is slightly different in that for the last 20 years, maybe. McDonald's, Burger King, all the fast food chains scrapped supersize. Large is the largest size you can have, and I think our large size is still smaller than your large size. It may even be smaller than your small size. So,
Well, we don't have supersize anymore either. They took that away, at least in my area years ago.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. They did that. I think that Super Size Me documentary kind of killed Supersize.
Yeah, it really did.
Even though that guy was bullshit.
Yeah.
Yeah, ironically.
But I was going to say that, like, you know, looking at some of the comments and stuff or whatever, we can't be like, fuck yeah, freedom, but then government overreach. Like, you can't. Like, and I'm talking specifically about the people that do support this administration. They are doing overreach in ways that Biden and Obama would have never dared to do. Like, it's just it's levels of overreach in everyday life. I remember when Biden was in office, the best part about it is I didn't hear his name every day. You know what I mean? Like, like I would go months on end where the government was running and doing what it's supposed to do, and I didn't have to know about it. Whereas we're now existing in a cult of personality where Trump wants to be in the news cycle every single day, which is why he does things every single day, even on the weekends.
No, like, you know, with Biden, he does something I disagree with. Okay, let's talk about, let's put him on blast for this. Hey, you fucked up. Why'd you do that? You know, you could do that with Biden. With Trump, you'd be doing that like at least a couple times a day. It's exhausting. You just can't fucking keep up.
So,
sorry, the Republicans, anyone who claims themselves to be a Republican now, is they have no leg to stand on. They have no values. They are no longer
used to be against regulation.
Well, yeah, this is exactly what I was going to say. If you go through the list, they were against big government, even though this government currently is spending more than any other government ever has. They were against, they were for states' rights and against federal interference. That's gone out the window with the recent National Guard things, and Trump saying that he's going to get rid of mail-in voting, which he legally can't do. So we'll see how that goes. Every single thing they used to be against, they are fully supporting now. And so the idea that they had any principles, I'm sorry, it's gone out the window.
Yeah.
Because everything they said they had principles for, free speech, no, that just meant free speech for them. States' rights, no, their states' rights, not your states' rights. You look what's going on in between California and Texas. Every single thing, if you look at it, they want it for them, and they don't want it for anyone who disagrees or who has the opposing view. My body, my choice, gone because they decided that they wanted the government to interfere. Every single thing. There's not a single thing that they can point to now and have a principled stance on.
Well, this kind of takes us back to a couple weeks back when we were talking about that Mehdi Hassan Jubilee appearance, the one lovely Francoist gentleman who was talking about how the only reason that he engages in debate is to push his point of view so that he can have like an authoritarian takeover of society and then prevent other people from being allowed to express their points of view. That's, I mean, that he very much just came out and said what they've what the political right in America has kind of been steering towards for quite some time. I did want to address something that one remark in the chat about that you guys were talking about, like food deserts and stuff like that. I also want to say, even in places where that's not true, you know, it's kind of I think of a conceptual failure of this more common kind of American bootstrap-esque principle of voting with your dollar and making personal choices out of personal responsibility. Because even if you're buying, you know, the healthy meats, your chicken and your fish, and even if you're, you know, buying your fruits and vegetables and you're eating as healthy as you believe it's possible for you to do, you still, if you got regulations, you still don't have a lot of control over how good that stuff is for you.
True.
In ways that you might not even know about until 20 years from now. So
and that's absolutely happening right now with the stuff that they're. I mean, I pulled up. I got some bad news. First of all, so Matt is going to be around a long time. This is a report from Politico from just a couple days ago. That basically the agenda of RFK Jr. and Make America Healthy Again stuff. These ideas are spreading across the U.S. into state legislatures. Right. And they're becoming proposals and eventually laws. And the thing is that it's bipartisan. So they have tapped into something that reasonably it's understandable. For, we got a bunch of people. Nobody understands in this country how to eat healthy or what healthy food is. There's a bunch of mixed messages about all that, plus all the advertising and the fucking corporate crap being shoved down our throats, literally. But like, so there's that's RFK was a lot of his supporters were fucking liberals. You know what I mean? People that anti-vax liberals and shit like that. But yoga moms and whatnot. And like,
well, ironically, this sort of method that they're choosing for Maha is like a spoonful of sugar. Helps the medicine go down, except in this case, it's not medicine, it's poison.
A spoonful of sugar helps the cyanide go down.
Yeah, a spoonful of sugar helps you ignore the fact that you need vaccines. Yeah.
So I mean, one of the only good things here is that they've we'll get to it, but yeah. So there's been, let's see, so over 130 bills aimed at regulating ultra-processed foods and improving nutrition. Over 60 bills restricting the application of pesticides and other chemicals. That's a bad thing. And more than 130 bills expanding vaccine exemptions or prohibiting mandates this year. That's bad. Then there's dozens of bills to promote the use of psychedelics, authorize sales of raw milk. This is like the Joe Rogan fucking agenda here. Authorize sales of raw milk and ivermectin, and ban the fluoridation of drinking water.
Well, let's start with the easy one, which is raw milk. Raw milk is dangerous. We knew this 100 years ago. That's why pasteurization exists, and pasteurization is a completely non-chemical process. They superheat the milk, kill off the germs. That's all they do. Nothing else gets destroyed.
Everybody's known heating up stuff is a good way to kill germs.
Yeah. I mean, are they going to stop boiling water to?
Yeah,
is that the
it was
next
such
step?
a popular idea that
Actually,
somebody named their kid Louis after it.
I just want to say, Ryan, you say that. Are you guys familiar with the Silicon Valley raw water movement?
Oh God, I saw that they were. I mean, no.
There's a few very wealthy people who are proponents of something called raw water. I really encourage you guys. There's actually a great
I'll have to
Trap
look into
House
that. That
episode
sounds
about
like a deep
this.
dive.
What I'm hoping it is that they want to get rid of all chemicals from water apart from hydrogen and oxygen.
No, it's about drinking still water that you find in your neighbor's yard is what it's about. Unironically. One of my favorite quotes from an article that covered those people is one of the people who talked about being a proponent, or a wealthy person, by the way. This is like rich people killing themselves out of boredom. This wealthy guy was talking about it, and he was saying like the reason why it's attractive to him. And he said something like, now, is it just because everything from the roof feels special? And I'm like, brother, are you 5? Like drinking out of the hose? I remember doing that as like a kid, because you're like a gross little child and you don't know any better.
Right,
well,
I mean,
like if we actually had like clean tap water, stuff like that. I mean, the hose probably isn't clean, but like it wouldn't be the worst thing ever. But the problem is we don't really have clean tap water in this country outside of a few towns, and good on them.
Yeah,
but
well, the hose
for the most
itself,
part, don't
the physical
drink
hose
tap
is
water.
probably not clean if it sits outside all the time. But it comes from the same source as the rest of your water, at least where I live. That's how it is. So
that's another difference between the US.
Living on the edge, Maestro.
A lot of the rest of the
it's
world
just
is
water and not dog pee. Well, I mean, statistically, a lot of water is formerly pee.
Yeah.
All water, isn't it?
The way to make it, yeah.
But in the UK, definitely, and most of Europe, our tap water is pretty decent. It depends where you go. In the cities, it tends to be not as good. London water is terrible, but here in Wales, we actually our water was stolen by the English in the 70s and 80s, and
it's a common story over there.
Yeah, they basically flooded
I live in. I
they
think
basically
the
flooded.
only Sorry, go ahead.
I was just going to say they flooded. Basically, they flooded an entire village here to supply Birmingham with drinking water.
Well,
you could do a really cool like UK Mad Libs. Our blank was stolen by the English. You could fill out an entire paragraph with claims like that.
Ozzy Osbourne, I know, they just raised a bunch of money for Birmingham area. Ozzy did with that concert that he did before he died. So I don't know what they're doing with it, but there's that. So I live in the only U.S. city, like major U.S. city that does not have fluoridized whatever water. That was voted for, I think, in the 70s or 80s. Which, by the way, the idea that that fluoride in your water is bad for you, is some kind of poison or whatever the fuck, was some dentist theorized it in like the 80s, 70s or 80s or whatever. And that was it. Just some guy.
Yeah.
I've heard the actual science.
Dude. Fuck science.
I've heard the actual science on this from a scientist, and the funny thing about America is because obviously big country, lots of different water sources. Some states actually add fluorine to the water, but some states take it out because there's a set level of safe fluorine. Because fluorine, if you have too much of it, it is poisonous in the same way that chlorine is, and sodium, but chlorine and sodium together make delicious salt. So
the way that they do it, it's so if you ingest fluorine, that is, I believe it's toxic to your system. But fluoride is actually, and I'm not a big chemistry person, but that is actually safe to ingest because of how the I don't know, like how it's like molecularly bonded or whatever the hell. There's a whole ton of chemistry terms that I don't remember the distinction between, like mixtures and stuff like that. But somebody in the chat will probably correct me. But there's like a chemical reason why fluoride is safe to ingest. But my favorite argument for it is the statistical evidence based on like how frequently people lose teeth and whether or not they live in an area that gets fluoridated water. I just think that that's very interesting, that you're less likely to have your teeth falling out all the time if you get it.
Yeah, pretty much. I mean, but the thing about the sort of chemical response is that, like I said, certain states will take fluorine out of their water because there's too much naturally occurring, and some states will add it. And some states, and it's possible your state is a case where the fluorine level's perfectly safe, Dane, and so they don't need to do anything. And it's quite a wide range anyway. But the idea that it's bad for you is ridiculous because it's naturally occurring in some water supplies. So what are they going to say to those areas where there's too much in and the water companies take it out? Yeah. Are they going to tell them to stop taking it out and start actually poisoning people?
I mean, I hear all this thing about like them talking about nature and stuff, right? All the time, like it's not natural. We want to get back to natural or whatever. While they're using cell phones, walking around with hip replacements, fucking wearing clothes.
Look at any of the talking head women of the Republican side.
Any of these, right? The ones, the Mar-a-Lago plastic surgery victims, like all those people.
Listen, I want an all natural environment, which is why earlier today I got mauled by a bear.
Right, yeah. I mean, we should all be riding on horses, naked.
You should have chosen the man, Bob.
Yeah,
riding horses isn't natural, though. We bred them. We bred.
That's true.
Dogs.
It's true.
We bred all the food.
We should be walking and running only with no shoes. Like this idea of everything should be natural. If it's not occurring in nature, there's something wrong with it. I think that's just ridiculous. They literally exist in a world where there's a lot of unnatural stuff. I mean, it's dumb.
Virtually all of our food that we grow and eat is not natural. It's been purposely genetically modified. And if you look at what fruits and vegetables used to look like before we started doing this, it's hilarious. You look at a corn cob or a watermelon. Watermelon was mostly seed.
Yeah.
And
bananas wouldn't even exist. Like bananas would have been wiped out like decades ago.
Yeah, well, the current bananas that we all eat, there's one variety, and that replaced the previous variety, which died out because of a naturally occurring parasite, I think.
Right. They're worried that's going to happen. Oh, sorry, Chariot.
I was just going to say, isn't that why banana flavored candies taste different? Because they're based on
apparently, although I think that might just be made up because there's no way to prove it. Because we can't taste what the old banana looked like now. I think that
remember
might
what
be
they took from you for real.
I think that might be a little bit of bullshit because if you think about it, think about other sort of foods like that, like anything strawberry flavored or raspberry flavored. They haven't been changed, and they don't
Right.
taste that much. Like, so I don't know. It's a fun story. I hope it's true, but
yeah, the banana candied flavoring is based on the old recipe of bananas or whatever.
apparently
Yeah,
so. Although the old variety was more banana-y.
Yeah.
Well, some
yeah, so
candy flavors are completely synthetic, and some I think are supposedly based on like fruit extracts or whatever. But yeah, you're right. You're right.
I mean, will that explain why banana flavored stuff, depending on the brand, all tastes a little different?
I do need to push back against this, because not everything that they're doing is bad. You know, they're throwing a lot of shit at the wall, a bunch of crazy shit, and it's basically all controversial stuff that there's been, you know, low level or lower level support for a long time, but now that they're in power, they're going to do it. You know, so for one thing, a lot of the stuff that they're doing, as far as for example, in Texas, the biggest legislation so far has been to, like, basically they're going to have big cigarette pack like labels on stuff that has food dyes or something in it, which is fucking stupid. Food dyes are really not the biggest problem.
Well, this is.
But then one positive thing is that the psychedelics thing, which there is, you know, there does need to be more research with that, as far as like fucking psilocybin for mushrooms for like depression and stuff like that. This is stuff there's been smaller studies done on, but because they've been illegal, you can't do federal studies that show a lot of improvement with this type of stuff for medication. So that's a good thing, you know. But
see, I wonder if that's not like a Trojan horse.
Might be,
because it sort of reminds me, like, there was this was like forever ago, so I'm probably gonna misremember it, but you guys might remember hearing about this. There were like some like White House like folks, like just people who worked there, just like staff, you know, not like people in positions of real power, but they were working in DC, and they just like had various jobs, and they all kind of got like the same like survey about like past drug use and stuff like that, and they were encouraged to be honest. And I think it was under the Biden administration, so the idea was that like this would be kind of a progressive look, and then they all got fired if they reported that they had like smoked weed and stuff like that.
That's crazy.
That was how I remember it being talked about by the people who were experiencing it. I don't remember it getting like a ton of coverage, but you know, a lot of that stuff feels kind of two-faced from the government, at least in my opinion.
This thing is another one, which is just like, it's this weird balance that you've got where you try and balance freedoms with responsibilities in weird ways, because a lot of the food dyes that you use in your foods, we've banned over here and in the rest of Europe. And there's some stuff that you've banned that we haven't. But rather than put a warning on the pack saying too much of this food dye will kill you or might give you cancer, we just banned it. So I don't know why there's such a resistance to do that in the States when there are plenty of food additives that you have banned. Like, I know that people always go, I don't know if this is true, but you have like things on your food packaging which tell you like this may contain a certain amount of fly or beetle parts.
I think it's probably because so many of the companies, like if you look at cigarettes as an example and alcohol, they contribute far too much money to like the rich people. The rich people don't want it banned, but if they put a label on it, they can still sell it, but not ban it. I think that's really what it comes down to.
In that John Oliver segment, one of the things that he shows is a clip of that, you know, Cali Means Business guy and his sister, the weird partnership they have there. But like and by the way, his wife looks a lot like his sister, so that's the whole thing. But so they're
We're not going to dive deeper.
That's actually white excellence. So
so he shows he has like a box of Fruit Loops from Canada and one from the US, and he opens them. The Canadian box, the bag is just like, the Fruit Loops are a lot less fruity colored. And yeah, so I mean, there's some stuff that's like, okay, I'm not saying everything they're doing is bad. A lot of it is, but then some stuff is like, okay, that's fine. But like the prioritization of that, and then the throwing the weight of responsibility at the foot of the individual, especially poor individuals, instead of looking at the systemic issues, is fucked up and wrong, and we need to move past that as a fucking society if we're going to survive.
I mean,
But
it's
again,
like most
this-
everything else in the Trump administration, and all the right wing spear. Almost all of it has. There's like a hint of truth. There's like a little truthful element, but what they do is they blow it out proportion.
Right.
They take the wrong conclusions and just go with it. They don't listen to the actual like explanation as to why something might be some way. It just hint of truth, and then just draw some insane conspiracy theory and just go with that no matter what anything else says.
I mean, yeah, for example, there's like, let's say the whole Epstein thing, right? There's like, okay, that seemed kind of crazy, but like, I mean, the guy was clearly up to some bad stuff, but it turns out our president is a pedophile.
Which we knew going in, by the way.
Yeah, which we
We've
knew
known this for a while.
2016, we knew that.
I just
This
have
is not shocking.
But
Anybody on the panel.
Bill Barr says that he's not implicated in anything, right? Bill Barr says that.
Which is why they've released the Epstein files, and we've seen.
No, by the way, they
not
just
on it.
updated it today that another federal judge blocked the release of the transcripts. Again, this is like the third or fourth time it's happened. So,
But those are just the transcripts from the grand jury, which don't tell us anything we didn't know already.
Exactly.
That's just so. This is all just like you were saying about the Bill Barr thing. I read somewhere based on that story that actually that's just taking quotes out of context. What Bill Barr actually said was something along the lines of he didn't personally know of anything.
Right.
Not that there was nothing, which is what the quotes seem to
Right.
hint towards, but that he personally couldn't say for definite.
I also want to point out the reason
why.
why the Trump administration wanted to kick this back to the courts is because they knew the courts would never release the transcripts, and they can just keep saying, well, see, we've said the courts can do it. We've already said they can release everything they have, knowing that there's like a 0.00001% chance that the courts were going to release those files.
Right.
So,
and then also, what is he doing every other time that he's talking about the judges? He's talking about how they're fucking anti-America for going against.
So he's
them.
already painted that picture. That's the thing, is it's a carrot on a string for the MAGA people that have been criticizing him for the Epstein files.
And they never go quite far enough to say, well, why isn't he going after these judges? Why is he accepting what they've said and just saying, oh, well, can't do anything, despite the fact that every other judge that has ruled against him, he's gone after and called them all sorts of things.
I also want to point out, if these people are corrupt, they would have already been charged with something. That's the thing. You don't sit at the highest position of power in the country and call judges corrupt and then never like actually go after them with anything, which is what he does. He calls everything corrupt, a scam, a hoax, but never provides any proof that it is any of those things. He just says that it is.
Well, he's just a truth teller, so we take everything he says at his word. Never mind the history of lying. Never mind that. That doesn't mean anything.
I mean, imagine if somebody walked into a police station and said, "Oh, I've just been shot by this guy. I know exactly who it was." And they go, "Right, well, who is it?" And they, yeah, he's a bad guy. I know he is, though. They will tell us who he is, and we'll arrest him. No, I wouldn't go that far. Can you show us where you've been shot? No, you don't need to see where I've been shot. You just need to know that I have been shot, and this guy definitely did it, and I know who it is, and we'll just leave it at that.
You're not going to file any charges? No, he's guilty. He just did it. So, okay.
Great. It just the way that this all comes back together, the Epstein stuff, the Make America Healthy Again stuff, it really reminds me, when I was voting last November, I was standing in line at the polling place that's local to us, and there was this woman ahead of me in line. We were about like the same age, and she was talking to me, and we were just having conversation. Nice lady, completely, nice lady, nice woman. She was Latina. She was a military veteran. She'd been in the U.S. Armed Forces. I don't recall if she said what branch. I think just the Army. I don't know if it was both her parents, her father at least, had been here. I don't know what it was, like a visa overstay or whatever. But he had come here illegally or whatever. So he was an undocumented immigrant for a certain portion of his life, and he had recently gotten citizenship. And she was talking like she was going to vote for Trump when we were in line together. And this was just a very, I keep thinking about her and hoping that that things are all right for her family.
Yeah.
Because they're the exact type of family things would not be all right for. And I just keep thinking about her, because one of the things that she said was she was talking about and this sounded delusional to me, because it was like one of those things where it's like, did you know that the government gives illegal immigrants a free $10,000 just because they said they wanted it? She said something like that to me, and I was like, there's no way that version of that story is real. Like,
no.
It was one of those absurd lies that, like, on the spot was so absurd that I didn't have a prepared response for it because it just sounded made up. So I was like, there's got to be like some version of this where, like, if you start a small business in a disadvantaged neighborhood, you get like a tax break or something. And then you heard a regurgitated version of that from like Fox News, and then you came away with that idea. But it was just like, she was very firm in this idea that, like, the reason why she had like a conservative kind of thesis for how to approach the economy was that, like, well, we should help Americans first. We should be helping veterans first. And it's like, well, that's the kind of thing, my entire life, that's the kind of thing somebody says when they're definitely not about to help veterans. Like, veterans are the whole point of invoking the troops is that they are a disposable group of people who can be murdered or abandoned at will. Like, in politics, that's how people talk about veterans. So I feel
it's the same as the invisible. It's the same as the invisible enemy, isn't it? It's the invisible worthy figure. These people need help before these people. Okay, well, are we going to help them? No, because there's other people that you need help even more. And it's the same as the invisible enemy. These people are bad. Well, we've got rid of all those people. Well, yeah, but they weren't the only problem. It's now these people that are also bad. Right. So,
well, you're also just like never gonna purge society of 100% of the unworthy slackers. Like that's just not possible.
You think so? Because check this out. Oklahoma's trying. So Oklahoma begins controversial test to weed out woke teacher applicants today. Teachers from liberal states who have relocated to Oklahoma and are seeking work there must take a controversial new assessment to be given for the first time today on the 15th that keeps away woke indoctrinators, according to Oklahoma's top education official. Jesus Christ.
I mean, can we do the same thing in progressive states?
No, they would fucking cry so much.
No, but I mean, like, I feel like it's gotten to the point where it's like, they say they just wanted free speech and the ability to say what they want, but the truth is they don't want other people to say stuff. That's the reality of it.
Yeah.
It's it's so fucking obvious.
Yeah, it kind of just has to be partisan lawfare now, unfortunately, I think.
On a positive note, though, it's nice to see that Oklahoma seems to have solved every other problem in their state that they need to be doing this nonsense now.
I mean, Oklahoma is an insane right-wing cesspool.
Doesn't it have that guy that got in trouble for putting
generalized, but holy shit,
prawn up on the school board screen? Wasn't that his state?
Was that
probably?
Oh, I know. Well, I mean, I know that. What's her name? Kaya Reichik. At least last I checked, she was some kind of advisor to the Oklahoma education guy, and even though she doesn't live and never has lived in Oklahoma. So there's that. That being the libs of TikTok lady. But also here's some news that goes along with this. This assessment was developed by PragerU, who has videos that now show in several states, I think 10 states, including Oklahoma. And they're trying to compete with PBS Kids. So that's cool. We're doing great.
Yes.
Not to rub it in or anything, but I do have some slightly good news coming from the UK as well.
All right, go for it.
Britain's first transgender judge is going to be fighting the recent changes to the law around transgender recognition. So
somebody's doing something over there on Turf Island. That's good.
Yeah.
I just looked it up. Oklahoma receives, get this, half of their states is their critical systems like education, health, infrastructure, public welfare programs, all of that. 50% of that comes from federal funding from other states, other blue states, and their Medicaid program or whatever. 60% of that comes from that amount of money. Like that budget that they have from the federal government. So they're not even contributing to the state, to the country at all. They're literally taking from the country.
Well, this is what people always say is like conservatives love talking about how everybody wants to move to Texas or whatever. But then you find out Texas gets like way more from the federal government than it gives. So and yet California, it's the opposite, you know.
In 2024, Oklahoma contributed a whopping 0.77% to the federal tax nationwide. 0.77%.
Wow.
Our conservatives believe in fairness, by the way.
Just tax them like you tax California. See how quickly the state dries up. That would be great.
I mean, I was just pulling up the representation of Oklahoma. It's
Not
probably roughly like, you know, for every Democrat that has a seat, you get like 9 Republicans, roughly.
Yeah, somebody did put, you know, even though normally I don't like being like, I'm here for this, do the thing, monkey dance, monkey. We didn't actually get to what Chris Pratt said, so I should cover that.
Yeah, we danced around it and got to other stuff, but
yeah. So I mean, we got to the problem with Chris Pratt's what he said in the first place. So now with all of that front loaded context, here's what he said. Wait, what did he say? Well, I mean, the fucking quotes are all in a weird order.
I actually had a tweet with it all kind of like put together. Let me see if I can find it. Are you looking for just the main thing that he said? I can read it.
Just
hold on.
Yeah.
Fun fact.
Okay.
Chris Pratt is the worst Pratt. Christopher Plummer will forever be the best Chris.
All right, so let me read what Chris said here. I've got it right in front of me here. Scrolling down. I thought I had it in front of me. I know I have it here. Hold on 1 second. Sorry.
Man, it's like it's trying to run away from us.
It is 100%. All right. He goes, this is what he said about RFK Jr. This is all the juicy stuff kind of put together. I think he's great. He's funny. He's wonderful. I love him. When you jump on the bandwagon with the most divisive president ever, it makes sense that you're going to be made to look terrible for doing nothing wrong. That's the quote.
Oh, for doing nothing wrong.
Yeah.
So just to be clear, like the anti-vaccine movement has the blood of numberless children on its hands, like in just an insane, incalculable amount of human suffering. You know, like to the point where if you start looking into the effects that this movement has had on the world, you start finding out like people who have been lied to, and they're like they lost a child who will never age past 4 as a result. There's a great Milo Rossi video actually about this recently, responding to a TikTok guy who spread a bunch of anti-vax misinfo, and he goes into like a really famous case where like a bunch of anti-vax misinfo got pushed on some parents, and a ton of children died, and it was like super duper tragic and crazy. And this is not only is this a thing that has happened, but it will continue to happen, and it'll happen more and more the more that people like RFK get their way. So to say that he's doing nothing wrong, like you have to be pro murdering children to think that. Like that's crazy.
Well, I've also, when I talked about this last night, I brought up the fact that this is sort of like brushing everything under the carpet. He's a part of the administration. Like your personal connection with him, whether you find him great, funny, wonderful, or whatever, that means jack shit to me and anybody else that's affected by the stuff he's doing. He's not on the bandwagon for Trump. He's in the administration.
Right.
You know what I mean? It's not just a divisive president. He is literally in a position to control what people do in this country based on what? What is his background on this? The fact that he ran for president in a failed campaign and then got picked up by Trump? I mean...
And nothing has changed between what he was saying before he hooked up with Trump and now.
Right.
The reason he's disliked is not because he buddied up to Trump. It was all the stuff he was saying and doing.
Yeah. But I also want to point out
it's the dog that he barbecued and ate.
Yeah. I mean, look, he is in a position of power as a non-elected person that ran for president. That's where we're at. Like he took another person that was running against him and appointed him somewhere. He's a non-elected representative that was trying to run for president and acting what his presidential campaign was in an office that is not his. That's essentially what we're seeing here. We have a non-elected candidate for president being allowed to run his campaign. in office. So for Chris Pratt to act like he's never done anything wrong, he's just some nice old man that comes to the parties and laughs and we love him, that is ridiculous. It's ridiculous.
I actually want to see if I can find that anti-vax clip, because I think this is really important for people to see. It might take me like a minute here.
So you said numberless.
I have the Bill
numberless
Maher
children.
thing. I don't know if I don't think Club Random copyrights us.
I just want to point out that the Chariot said numberless children, which is accurate. We can't count. It's impossible to know. But there is a number from Samoa in people who died directly due to RFK Jr. spreading vaccine misinformation, and that's 83.
Yeah,
83 people, 83 Samoans died directly because of him pushing.
We're going to see more people die in this country because of this. Like everything that he's doing with our healthcare system, we are going to see more people die. Like
that was before he was in power. That was before he was part of the administration.
Yeah. I mean, I'm just saying, like this is not me hoping that it happens. I'm saying I literally know, based on what he's doing, because of the cost of living and the rising prices for medication. We've already seen videos where people can't afford their diabetic medication, they can't afford other medications, whatever it might be, because it's on a list of stuff that's getting outpriced because of these fucking tariffs. We know for a fact that people will die because of stuff this administration does to healthcare. That is a fact. It's going to happen. We're going to have to see what those numbers look like, but we know it's going to happen.
The sad fact is that these sorts of things don't happen immediately. So it's going to be a couple of years, maybe into somebody else's presidential term before we find out. And it can be waved away as, well, statistics, because that's the trouble.
Do you think, I know this is really jumping to the end of the line here on this, but do you think that after all of this stuff happens, and maybe they get completely smashed in all the elections, or the ones that matter, right? And they're on their way out with this, and they think they've rigged the whole system for years and years and years. And to some degree, with the Supreme Court, they kind of have a little bit. But do you think that he is going to pardon everyone that he knows has violated and broken federal law so that they cannot be, like, taken to court over it? Do you think he's going to do that for his most loyal subjects?
100%. I think he would have done it anyway, but now that, because Biden did those preemptive pardons, I think there's going to be a lot.
Like RFK Jr. will probably get a federal pardon from Trump on their way out, and he will never get held accountable for anything that he does. That's essentially where we're at.
Probably. Yeah, pretty much anybody that could. Not that I think the Democrats would necessarily go and pursue prosecutions unless it gets really bad, but if they were going to, then I think.
I wonder if states could do it. If it's a state thing, maybe, but federally, definitely not. Like, that's what I think. I honestly think that a lot of the people like Pam Bondi and Pete Hegseth and all these people, if they find out they're on their way out and they've been loyal to Trump to the end, he's going to pardon them all federally.
You've got with the states is they will have had to have done something egregious in the states to have a case, and the states where people talking about vaccines, the states where people are less likely to vaccine are going to be the red states, and they're going to keep blaming it on something else. I mean, there was that story of that woman whose kid died of measles, and she was like, "Oh well, I got other kids," and that was her response, because she still didn't believe in the vaccines. And what more evidence than you need?
It's crazy. It's crazy.
Because this is, I know people talk about how in the Victorian era people had a lot of kids because they were dying a lot. Infant mortality was terrible. And people used to assume that obviously they didn't think human life was sort of as important back then because they had so much death, but that's not true. That wasn't true then. They did care when a kid died. It did affect them. But they had no other options. And I think now we're seeing that people don't care if they lose a child.
I want to add on, there's actually more here. You want me to read some more about this stuff that Chris Pratt said? So he says, I don't know what to believe about Kennedy. It's not like I say to him, let's talk about this while we're playing cards or having fun or having dinner. I'm not going to pick his brain to find out exactly which of those things are true. I just assume that none of them are.
I mean, if you pick his brain, you're going to find a worm.
Yeah.
I wish him well. That he goes on to say, there's certain things that Kennedy oversees that seem to be supported in a bipartisan way. Like you said, Dane, there are some things that people do agree with, like getting terrible toxic stuff out of our kids' food, Make America Healthy Again initiative seeks to reduce ultra-processed foods in the U.S. I think that's a great thing. If you just do that, that's amazing. I hate to be so mired in hatred for the president that any success from his administration is something I'd have an allergic reaction to. I'd be like, oh, well, if they do it, I don't want it to happen. I'll put Clorox in my children's cereal myself. I want them, there's certain things that should be good to have, and I want them to all be successful.
But like Dane said, they're not getting rid of this stuff. They're just putting warnings on the pack.
Yeah.
There's nothing. So
that's pretty bad. That was more of the context. I actually went through and was reading the article while we were sitting here. I'm like, that's bad.
I think ultimately,
I mean, I think I have the clip right here.
I think we have to accept that Chris Pratt he's a lot stupider than I think a lot of people thought.
Yeah.
And I just he's too much of a blank slate to have an opinion.
I don't know if I can sit through a clip of him saying all that. It's just going to make me angry.
Actually, Bill Maher's on the
I
screen.
did link.
It's Bill Maher too. Yeah.
I don't know if you this might take us a little bit. It might be a little bit of a tangent, but it probably wouldn't take more than like a minute or two. I linked that that super ultra long Milo Rossi video, but I timestamped the exact spot in the private chat. Hopefully the link goes to the timestamp. But
I definitely have to bookmark that because I won't have time to watch that tonight. But
so I found the Chris Pratt clip.
Okay.
He said pretty much what DJ said. So even though we went over it,
is there
I want to hear it from the horses.
Yeah, I was to say, is there more to it, or is it just the same stuff?
I mean, we can dive a bit deeper into it because I had a whole interview. But yeah, let me go ahead and turn off my camera.
Oh man, I hope there's certain things that he.
God, they're smoking cigars with the American flag. This is just so fucking gross.
Like getting terrible toxic stuff out of our kids' food. I think that's a great thing. And so, if you do that, that's amazing. I'd hate to be so mired in hatred for the president that any success from his administration is something I'd have an allergic reaction to. To be like, oh, well, if they do it, I don't want it to happen. I'll put Clorox in my children's cereal myself.
That's such a straw man.
Yeah.
Also, the exact attitude they had.
I mean, straw.
That's a straw man. Nobody's like, this is what I'm talking about. This is why I have such a hard time with the bad faith shit on the right. No one is going to put Clorox in their children's cereal, and you saying that means that you are trying to sensationalize what's happening and make excuses for the authoritarianism, fascist bullshit they're doing to get to the end goal. Like, I don't care about the end goal if the whole path there is taking rights and freedoms away from people and oppressing people and locking people up. I don't care if they remove food coloring from boxes of cereal because you're locking up brown people and taking rights away from marginalized groups. Like, that's not, to me, that is a no bueno. I'm not doing that. Not good.
I mean, that's a huge difference. Like, we actually take like clips that these guys say, and then we will debunk them or just point out how terrible they are. Whereas these, like, straw manning's almost all they have. They have to invent a boogeyman and then actually, be like, oh, isn't that terrible? But not only that, like, now we have a freaking whole government that makes policies against this straw man that doesn't exist, and it's actually harming people's lives. It's very frustrating the world we live in.
You know what I said last night about this whole thing that kind of frustrated me is we live in a time where when people like Gina Carano and Zachary Levi were saying dumb shit like this, they were treated appropriately. But they had the accountability handed back to them. I think Chris Pratt as technically an A-list actor, I asked last night, most people agree he's considered an A-list actor. When he says this now so openly on a podcast like this, he feels comfortable like he's not going to lose anything by saying it. And I think that's a very dangerous place for us to be in entertainment where I'm going to say now, most likely a right-wing actor has decided that it's okay for him now to talk about how he feels, but he spent the vast majority of his career doing this all behind the scenes while pretending to be okay with all of these things. That is very dangerous because they would say liberal actors, oh, you're saying too much, just shut up and act. When in fact, they want to know if actors are part of some sort of progressive ideals or, the narrative or whatever it is they say. But they're totally okay with Chris Pratt being a stealth psyop for his entire career, only to come out and act like it's okay once Trump is in power and now they're taking rights away from people. Now he feels comfortable coming out and saying all of this.
And the worst thing is it's entirely hypocritical because he's only saying this because he knows Robert Kennedy. because he's friends with, because he's part of the family. And so he's saying, oh, don't paint him in a negative light just because of some of the things the administration is doing you don't like, when he's pasting him in entirely a positive light because of his personal connection.
Yeah. Why not, if you're going to be unbiased, give the good and the bad shit. Like, don't just glaze it. You know what I mean? That's the thing for me. Like, give the good and the bad shit. I think the one thing about politics that has become so weird, at least recently, is that the people on the right think that people on the left are just going to blindly support anything that comes our way. That is not true. I'm extremely critical of people that I've supported, where I say I don't agree with certain things they did. Like, I was not a Biden fan, but Biden wasn't Trump, and that's all I gave a fuck about, because Trump is a fascist, authoritarian individual, narcissist. So anybody on the opposite end of that was going to get my vote.
I mean, you know, these guys act like Biden's like a far leftist. Biden is the most center-right fucking political candidate.
The reason,
ever.
Exactly, Bob. The reason why we didn't have him in the news all the time is because he didn't offend anybody. He was so fucking soft on everything that nobody cared. They call him Sleepy Joe because he just wasn't even interesting. I would take Sleepy Joe a million times over what we got right now. Like, what we got now is awful. I don't like. Last night on my podcast with the guys that I normally stream with, one of the things we brought up is how upsetting it is that now we cannot go a stream without talking about something political, even though we never did before, because now it has infected our entertainment in a way that it was never like this. And the people on the other side of this, the Nerdrotics, the Fandom Menaces, all these guys, they never had to talk about any of the quote unquote ideology because it was never that bad. What we have now is literally a government overreach on entertainment and things that we consume, because we have someone in the office who wants to be the only celebrity we talk about 24 hours a day. We cannot get away from it. It's just everywhere. And this is by design. This is what he wants.
Yeah.
And I just want to address Wow's comment real fast, because A-list and being like having really good acting chops are not necessarily.
They're not.
A-list is just it means you're in demand and you get booked and put in a lot of things. It has to do with
popularity. I would consider Pedro Pascal A-list.
Yes,
as well at this point. One of my all-time favorite actors, although he has said some cringe stuff, Gary Oldman. I don't know if I'd ever quite consider him A-list.
No. Plus, some of the best actors are not A-list.
Yeah.
What we should be talking about, instead of any of this bullshit, and we can't, because we have to talk about this bullshit, but we'll talk about it now because I just learned about it in the chat. There was apparently a fight on the set of Avengers Doomsday.
Yeah,
I heard something about that. Yeah.
So I was just looking into that. It is not clear who it was yet, but it's apparently two pretty big actors, and one of them made a joke that maybe was a little bit too familiar with the other one. Whenever they don't really know each other that well, the other one got offended, allegedly, and confronted him on set, and apparently the studio had to step in and offered to, despite it costing millions of dollars to do so, offered to shoot their scenes not together. Basically the Vin Diesel Rock strategy of that one movie.
Well, I don't know if Dave Bautista has been confirmed for Avengers Doomsday, but I could see him and Pratt at this point getting into.
I don't think Star-Lord is going to be.
They are familiar with each other, so that wouldn't apply. This says they were apparently not very. They don't know each other that well. These two actors.
So Pedro and Chris Pratt is possibility, but I mean,
that's what pops up into my mind.
I have no idea. Yeah, no.
And saying it's two big names doesn't really narrow
it
down.
Like,
I mean, because the movie is full of big name actors.
Yeah,
it's like all big name actors. I mean, literally almost everyone in the movie is a big name actor.
Well, I mean, you got to think about it. You've got some very prominent people like Ian McKellen, who has done so much work for gay rights, and he's at that stage in his life
Patrick
where
Stewart.
and at that stage in his life where he's not going to take any shit lightly, because he has no reason to. But then he's also deeply professional, and it's likely he'd just tell the story himself at a later date. So there's a lot of names who it could be.
I don't think Guardians of the Galaxy are coming back anyway, because of James Gunn not being attached to it. I think Secret Wars is going to erase a lot of stuff. I think, unfortunately, for people that love everybody else on that team, I think that will be one of the things that gets erased. We might keep like Rocket or something, but I don't think we're going to keep.
I hoped we would see the version, or at least some kind of version of the one that was in the end of Volume 3. But
yeah. I'd love to hear a King Crimson soundtrack too.
Kelsey Grammer is, but I don't think Kelsey Grammer is one of these like confrontational conservative people. He doesn't take.
I don't think he's MAGA. You know.
Yeah.
I don't see him going MAGA.
I know he's deeply conservative, but I think he also knows when to keep his mouth shut about stuff. But also, I think he's just doing voiceover.
Yeah,
I think.
And he's also he's also a big Star Trek fan, which is really baffling.
Yeah, I think they said that they were going to do his scenes as the one we saw in the Marvels, so it's not going to be
he's going to be entirely CGI, so he wouldn't have been on set. So none of the voice actors would have been on set.
I mean, unless they do him like the Hulk and he is on set. But who knows if they'll actually take the time?
No,
to
I
do
think I'm sure I read something that I confirmed that he is just doing it. He's not doing mocap.
Okay,
that's true. Mark Ruffalo is a very open leftist.
He is.
Yeah,
he is. I would say anybody
you were
that's
always able to do that. You could always do that.
I would say that almost anyone on set that's fighting is someone that knows they're not coming back. They're probably like, we're done after Secret Wars. We don't have to come back.
Yeah,
you know
one of the Fox men or something probably. Yeah,
I mean, we're assuming it's political as well, which might be a bit of a mistake. It might just be a personality clash.
It could be.
There's a lot of personalities on this.
Big personalities, big egos. So
yeah.
Yeah, it's just
definitely
disappointing.
some grifting going on based on that. I'm already seeing. You know, there's some videos and stuff that are like,
sure,
you know, chaos on.
Oh
the
God, I don't have enough hours in the day to debunk everything. I have too much time, too many things.
For
to
the
talk
record,
about.
this same article that reported it says that they basically there was apologies and they made up on set and everything. So it's like not an ongoing thing,
right?
That they're not going to be shooting their scenes separately because the person that was kind of offended by the whole thing felt that Marvel being willing to do that was like a good faith effort, and so they made the effort of like, you know, accepting an apology.
So it doesn't sound political to me. It sounds like it might have been an issue with something on set, like something that happened on set. Yeah. I got too many. I'm gonna have to start doing debunking stuff on my Reloaded channel now. Apparently, I just don't have enough time every day to debunk everything.
It's just so hard. I mean, it was one thing. I can't remember. I saw something that said like, it takes a couple of seconds to spread a lie and a couple of minutes to debunk it, which is generous to the debunking. Sometimes it can take an hour.
Sometimes it takes years. To do it.
Who's hearing the lie? Who's believing the lie? Because there are some people that once they hear a certain lie, then they will never fucking budge on that.
That's true.
But yeah, it's crazy. So some people
what's
say
the Grifter debunking Grifters box office lies? Was that something we were talking about today?
Yeah. What's up, Bob?
We absolutely can. So guys, I don't know if you saw this, but let's go ahead and dive into it. So apparently, from this super reliable source I always go to for my box office information,
oh my God.
Marvel's Fantastic Four is set to bomb.
For context, just so everybody knows that we should take this guy very seriously, he is solely responsible for the success of the Guardians of the Galaxy film being made in the first place, because his support of the comic book series that it was based on was so important that's why it got made. James Gunn owes his entire career to him. That's just fact, because he said it on his fucking bullshit blog one time.
That seems reliable, and I don't think it's worth talking.
No, I've got a video about that actually, because what's his name? Fucking, I forget the dude's name. He's basically
McGloin.
not. Yeah, that's it. Yep, McGloin. He's not as bad as what's his name with the other thing, but it's pretty bad. He's still pretty bad.
I mean, it sounds like Cosmic Book News. Cosmic Book News is like, it's pretty much a chud outlet, but like it's not like.
When I saw the guy that runs
this
this site, I was like, oh God, I didn't think he would look like that. Have you ever seen what the guy looks like?
Yeah. He kind of just looks like a chud.
Yeah, I was like, okay, yeah. I actually thought he was younger. He's an older guy. I was like, I thought he was gonna be some young dude. No, he's an older
Kelsey
guy.
Grammer's not far right. Dude, what the fuck are you talking about? I mean, when did that happen?
Yeah, he's very right wing. He is very right wing.
He is pretty right wing. I don't know.
Far right is like, you know, essentially spouting Nazi talking points and shit. You know, openly white supremacist narratives and crap. Like,
I guess I haven't heard him say that. So yeah,
I can only assume that this Matt McGloin guy is still bitter about the fact that he probably got called Pat My Grind at school. So.
Oh God, yeah. So you want to hear a really douchey thing he did one time? So he was at some, I guess it was like a Hall H thing or something. I don't know what it was, but Dave Bautista was there. Speaking of Dave, and James Gunn, and it was like kind of a Guardians thing or whatever. And so Dave was talking to people, and he just in the moment he was like, "I'm going to call James Gunn and put him on speakerphone, right? And you guys can talk, say hi to James Gunn." So he calls. James Gunn didn't answer. His voice message did, and his phone number was played. And this guy published it.
Oh, Jesus. Oh.
Yeah. So that's
I think I remember you guys covering that. So, yeah,
the kind of journalism he does, that's newsworthy apparently.
Well, yeah, let's go into this amazing research. The Fantastic Four First Steps looks to be another confirmed bomb, as reports offer, just like Captain America, Brave New World, and Thunderbolts. This film will be a bust and potentially lose Disney money. Disney named both Cap 4 and Thunderbolts in recent investor reports as confirmed big busts.
Yeah.
And by the way, that link just goes to another one of their articles. According to the latest estimates, Fantastic Four First Steps will finish at the box office round with 510 globally. So like $200 million budget. Isn't it clearing the 2.5, which is a bullshit number that they've made up anyway? Isn't it clearing that anyway?
Like, it has to make $1 billion and $1.3 billion, something like that, to break even. No?
Yeah, I think 1.5 billion is the break even, I believe.
1.5 billion is the break even for everything.
I'm just doing a little bit of math over here.
RXNV, man, RXNV, you're here doing you're just spouting the bullshit, bro. You gotta stop, dude.
Every single film that's ever been made has to make 1.5 billion,
right,
or it's a flop.
So this segment's for you, RXNV.
I did a little bit of digging. I don't know if people in the chat know this, but I am very, very well versed on digging up how much money a movie actually saves based on where they filmed. And I already done this with Fantastic Four because I've done several videos on this. So we're talking about a estimated budget of 200, right? That's the estimated budget. Yeah.
I'm sorry, but like, why was RXNV banned? I literally, he's not like a chud. He just says dumb shit a lot.
I didn't do it.
I was really wanting.
I'm putting stuff in the private chat.
Okay.
So if you look in the private chat briefly, you'll know.
So the estimated budget, say it's 200 million. Okay. This film was shot in several locations. So Pinewood Studios in England gave them a 25% qualifying UK expenditure. So that's 25% they saved filming there off the estimated budget. Asturias, Spain has a 35% tax rebate on eligible expenses. They said they probably got around 15% of that because it's an international production. They filmed in Dorset and Derbyshire. Is that how you say that? I don't know if that's how you say that. Derbyshire. There's no tax incentives for those locations, but the overall tax credit system probably applied the same one from the first one, which was 25%. Middleton Mine, and apparently, however you said it, Ryan, the location was used for certain scenes, but there was no incentives there because they didn't film for more than a certain amount of time. So
the underground scene, that was the mole man's,
was it? Is that what that was?
Did you say Middleton Mine?
Yeah,
it must have been the mine, the underground.
Okay, so we're looking at least 25% they saved on filming in most of the England locations, and 15% on the low end in Spain. You would take that off of the estimated budget, and that's how much money they saved in production by filming in those locations. These are never accounted for by the Chud channels. They'll never look these numbers up. They'll never factor them in. They're going to tell you what the estimated budget is on the top end without any incentives applied to them. They will never mention them in these articles. They will never talk about them. It's one of the things I've noticed about this. If you're going to be someone that talks about a budget, you should try and include as comprehensive a number as possible, which would require you to do a little bit of extra digging to figure that out.
Well, here's the thing that drives me absolutely insane. Sorry, Ryan, let me get my point out here. But the thing that always drives me insane about this conversation, especially when the Chuds frame it, is the fact that like they're just obviously using it to slam the movie. If you want to have an honest conversation about like how much, like the break-even point for a movie, will it reach it? Why didn't it reach it? I am all for that. That can be a fun, interesting conversation. But like, if you're going to get all enraged and talk about, Disney's dead and stuff like that, that's the type of thing that only Disney investors should be concerned with.
Well,
Like,
that
you
also
know,
just it shows that you were approaching this from your conclusion, and so you're not interested in any conversation that happens around that. Your conclusion is what you're going to defend. You don't give a shit about context or facts or anything like that.
Just do some maths as we go along. So let's say it's 20. They save 20% filming outside the filming in the film locations. So that knocks the budget down to 160. Plus the 170 million that we already know that they made in brand deals, which has been widely reported. So by making this film, they made $10 million.
Yeah.
Just by making it.
Yeah. They already reduced the budget down to almost nothing because of all the work they did behind the scenes. But the Chuds will never talk about this. Even if you just go with like the highest or the lowest possible benefit on this, they're still not in the hole. And they'll never, ever talk about this. That's why the studio isn't sweating this. This is why they're not talking about it like, we're never going to use Fantastic Four again. No, they plan on using these characters again. So,
I mean, if nothing else, they built really good word of mouth with Fantastic Four of Thunderbolts, and studios care about that as well.
Well, we're not even into ancillary funds. There's no VOD numbers or any of the toy sales or anything included in this. No merch sales. We're just looking at the flat rebates at this point.
Just to talk about why marketing is bullshit as well, if you just add marketing on as a made-up number that you're thinking is about the same as the budget of the film. Part of the marketing money is the promotion that the actors do, right? The actors go around and they do all the press and everything for that. All of that press is built into their contracts. So that section of the marketing, they've already been paid for as part of the money that they get paid for making the movie. And contractually, it will say you have to do this much promotion. So that's already baked in there. So whenever anybody talks about marketing definitely being this number, that is not true.
It's a rule of thumb. It's not an exact science.
And it's impossible to know as well.
Yeah. You know why it's impossible to know? Because the marketing departments aren't monolithic. They have a lot of different departments that handle different types of marketing. And those numbers are just submitted into whoever the person is accounting for all of that, and then that's usually the producer, and they know that. But the producer's not going to make those numbers public and go, "Let me go through and count every single marketing deal we've done to make a public statement about it." That's why the marketing number is so overused in Chud discussions, because some marketing could be like 40 million, sometimes it could be 200 million. We have no fucking idea what it is unless they come out and tell us.
I mean, I do feel like it brings up a good point, because like there's something I've been wanting to talk about, guys, because I feel like I've been gaslit on this. There's this movie called Avatar, and everybody wants to talk about how this is a huge success. This movie bombed. Lots of people don't realize that. So like, this movie came out, it had an opening weekend of just under 80 million. What a fucking disaster for this $500 million movie. Fucking disaster. And they don't like talking about this, but you know, it has leaked. They pumped $2 billion into marketing this after that bomb opening weekend. And that's why it got better as the weekend went on. So yeah, sure, it made $3 billion, but actually needed $5 billion to break even using 2.5. Don't laugh. This is serious. Okay. This is a massive bomb.
Right.
And I can prove it because not long after this, Fox had to sell to Disney. Because this fucking massive Avatar bomb.
Yeah.
True, yeah.
Trust me on this.
They kept it pretty quiet at the time, but I'm sure I remember a couple of stories saying due to the absolute failure of Avatar, Fox is forced to sell itself to Disney. And of course, Disney then did nothing with it.
There is
completely buried it.
There's a super chat from somebody's channel. I don't know if we saw that or not.
I mean, yes.
From what I understand, in Disney, this is called Cameron's Heaven's Gate.
Anyways, if V for Vendetta taught me anything, it's that people who resist fascist bullshit for so long will get sick of it that they'll eventually fight back.
No, it will. That will happen.
True.
Yeah.
I wish that was true. It takes a long time.
Yeah, it does. It takes a while, but I do feel like that people will reach a breaking point. We'll see what that breaking point is. I mean, it's already kind of happening. We have Marines around the country, especially in like the California and DC or whatever, actual Marines just going around like while they're not stationed anywhere or whatever, fighting back against ICE agents, and ICE agents are backing down from the Marines. So that's interesting.
I don't understand what the point of putting the National Guard in DC is. All right, it might stop criminals from committing crimes because the army's there while they're there, but are they going to stay there all the time?
They want to get viral clips. They're hoping that something
The
happens.
thing is,
that
look,
they can do that.
you guys don't understand. Big Balls got attacked.
That's true. He did get beaten up by a couple of 15-year-olds.
Yeah, so we gotta, and we gotta do something. Big response.
Yeah.
For Big Balls.
Problem is, he tried to run away, but his balls were too big.
Yeah.
So the best he could do was bounce on
over.
them.
Yeah.
The best he could do was bounce on them, like
South Park.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh, God.
So as of next week, I think I'll be having my first Discord debate with someone. So we're gonna
shit.
Ooh, interesting.
see how that goes.
Interesting.
We'll see how
The
that
new
goes. on
era.
stream. I know.
What's are you allowed to say what it's about?
We haven't decided yet. So we don't really know. It's a couple of different options. There's some that lean more into like social stuff, like gay marriage and things like that. And then some of it leans into fandom stuff, like, women lead, like the MCU and stuff like that. So we haven't really decided on which way we're going to go. I will say that it's all going to end up being, it's going to lead to the same place anyway. So I don't really know what difference that makes, but
it
we'll
was
see.
someone you know, or is it a detractor?
It's I don't know yet. It's somebody that requested something via email. So I have to figure out if it's somebody like so my rule is, if you, and this is what I've told several people, if you do it in Discord or you email me or however you want to do it, if you have a YouTube channel and I can see you, and you're not hiding behind an avatar of like a ninja or something like that, if I can see your face, I will invite you onto StreamYard and we'll do it on StreamYard, right? If you're somebody that doesn't have a channel, you're just someone that watches and you want to chat, that has to be through Discord. That's my rule about that. So,
and I guess since you brought up debate, my debate tomorrow has not been canceled yet. So apparently I'll be debating somebody on my
Backseater
video. So, oh God, no. That was an entertaining debate, though, I will say that. Thor: Love and Thunder need 1.5 billion to break even.
Right.
Just what the fuck are we on?
We got another super chat. I don't know whose channel that is, but
no idea. You can never tell on StreamYard, but
I wish
said
they
this
told us.
before. But on the topic of chuds, Joe Rogan got a bunch of chuds on shrooms. I was one of them, but the more I took shrooms, the more left I went and realized I'm some form of transgender.
Some form of transgender.
Okay. Good for you. Good for you.
that is
a shillosexual?
That's a t-shirt for sure. Like, I'm some form of transgender. That would be a perfect like t-shirt. I am some form of homosexual. That would be my new shirts coming out.
Okay, we got another one here. Honestly, I've been reading lots of DC comics, especially the Superman comics. It's definitely one of the reasons why I keep on living right now.
Wow, that's high praise for some DC comics, I tell you.
Dude, DC's been on fire. DC's been really knocked out. As somebody who is traditionally a Marvel guy, I'm really enjoying DC comics more right now. I will admit.
There's plenty of reasons to keep on living. You just got to. My best advice is get off YouTube, and I know that's counterintuitive for what we do, but I'm in the midst of trying to write a video about it now, and basically I want to make the point of stop watching people reacting to films, stop watching people reviewing films, go and watch the film, make your own opinion, then come back and see what other people have got to say about it. But first and foremost, form your own opinion, because it'll dismiss any bullshit that they're trying to put in your head, because, and this is a weird tangent, but it will come back, I promise. My partner and I, we just started watching The Golden Girls because that's on Disney Plus now. And I watched it when it was first on, bits and pieces of it, but I don't remember it being as political or as subversive as it is. And you just think all of these people saying now, they keep injecting politics into stuff. It's like, they always did that. Even in The Golden Girls, they inject
I can't believe they let Blanche on Disney Plus, man. That's
we
crazy.
got Alien Earth on Disney Plus, which is a good fucking show, by the way.
I've heard really good things. I haven't caught up.
Oh, it is top 2 or 3 Alien thing for like it's
nice,
really fucking good.
I know there's been some complaints that they ignore Prometheus and Covenant, and I'm like,
well, the complaint is that they believe David created the xenomorphs or whatever, but there's nothing in canon that explicitly states he was the first. So that's the one conflict they have with it.
I mean, there is pretty much a xenomorph in Prometheus that David didn't create.
Right.
So,
yeah. So I was looking around to, Cosmic News stuff, and I found a Reddit post about how apparently he did the same thing with Thunderbolts, called it a flop. And then guess what I found on the first comment under that?
What?
Eric commenting on it.
Oh, me?
Yeah.
Oh, that's funny.
It's not a flop even slightly. I read the comment before. I was like, wow, this guy's really into the fuck. Oh, it's him.
I forgot I even left this comment. That's funny. When I do math, I'm proud of my math. No, I don't hear anything.
Okay, good.
I'm proud of my math usually.
I love seeing you guys comment on stuff when I like click on something and I'm like, should I respond to this? And I see that you've already got like a community post.
Yeah.
We've got bros in different area codes.
I need to get you like Chair, I know we talked about it, but I want to do a stream on like trans and gay issues.
Yes, please.
I'd like to like pick your brain a little bit on that. So I still need to do that. We should set that up soon for sure.
Hell yeah.
So I was going to say,
ever want to talk about cis straight white men issues? I'm right here.
Okay. There's not enough of that. I think we need our space to.
Yeah, being
it's
silent.
okay, guys. This is a safe space.
I will say it's really crazy. I did a video on Asmongold only because he made some comments about like trans people and gay marriage and everything. And I'm like, he was trying to make it seem like trans people were dragging down gay marriage. But I'm like, you do realize that the trans community does not immediately benefit from marriage equality because some trans people are not gay. So they don't benefit from that portion of the marriage equality argument. Like they will if they are in a gay relationship or if they're in some states where it's stigmatized. Obviously that still exists. But gay marriage or marriage equality affects more directly like interracial marriage and marriage of gay people. They're trying to scapegoat trans people and saying there should be LGBT or LGB without the T. Is that what Asmongold was saying?
That is 100% fucking turf.
Exactly. I was like, dude,
anytime you see LGBT shit, fuck
I was like, trans people are like the backbone of the queer community. Like, what are you talking about? You don't know enough about us to even fucking do that. Like, yeah, you ever see me as mad as I was in that video? I was really angry because I'm so tired of these podcast bros jumping in and acting like they know so much about my fucking community or the trans community, which I don't even know everything about the trans community. I'm adjacent to it, but it's still under the umbrella of queer people. But they jump in and they act like they have all the answers for us when they literally have like the straight community, which is the majority of the fucking planet, has enough of their own problems. Don't tell me what I need to do with my community when you've got shit you can't even handle in your fucking community. It's crazy.
Yeah, there's been a lot of like VTuber like drama lately, especially because there's like transgender VTubers, but there's also been a huge spike in like far right like neo-Nazi VTubers.
Yeah.
And I saw Asmongold respond to one of them. It might have been Yara VT, but I'm not sure. It was her. It was another prominent like trans VTuber.
I did see a video on that from Asmongold, but I don't know if that's the one you're talking about. There was one about that.
What I'm remembering is there was one where he said something. It was from a stream he did where he was like going on this tirade about like whatever like the bad stuff that he wishes on her, and he's just like straight up saying like it's because I don't like you or whatever. And it's like, dude, you're not even pretending to be principled. Like this is just a shitty, gross man who likes the idea of being hurtful to people who make him upset. Yeah. Like, is that where we are, where we're just admitting that that's what this is about?
Well, it's a shocking indictment of modern society that the internet's village idiot is as popular as he is. I mean, he looks like a boiled egg that's been dropped on the floor of a barbershop. Why is anybody listening to it?
I said the same thing. I like his Reddit tried to roast me saying he doesn't understand why Asmongold is popular. No, I say that facetiously. I do understand. It's like sarcasm. Like I get why people gravitate towards him from a like misery loves company level of like commentary, but he doesn't offer anything of value. There's nothing that comes from him that contributes to the conversation. I watched his videos on Trump, and he was very critical on the Epstein stuff, just like a lot of people were, but he still didn't add anything of value to the conversation. There was nothing there. He wasn't debunking anything. He wasn't providing new evidence. He's literally just sitting there repeating and watching content with people and giving me nothing. It's like, go on, girl, give me nothing. You know what I mean? Like, there's nothing there.
That's all his like, the most insightful Asmongold segment ever of all time is like where he just listens to somebody else, like Reb says Des for like 5 minutes, and then he interrupts it. He says something like, a lot of people are saying this. I think that's true. And then it just goes back to watching the video.
Or I'll do something like this. Like he'll be watching something, he puts his hand here. Well,
scratches his chin.
Yeah. And then he looks off the distance. Yeah. I mean, yeah, of course. You know, and then he starts again. He's like, well, sure. Yeah, of course. Absolutely. Like that's his commentary. It's nothing. He doesn't add anything. And by the way, my comment wasn't just stay out of gay people's business. I was like, stop sniffing our jockstrap. That was originally what I said to him. Because I feel like his nose is straight up in our fucking jockstraps all the time. And there's a lot of straight people in the podcast space that spend more time talking about gay shit than I do. And then somebody had the audacity to come into my fucking comments, send me an anonymous comment or whatever, saying that my channel is too gay. My channel.
I saw that.
Mm-hmm.
I'm like, I should be less gay. Literally almost no reference to gay stuff on my channel other than in the description of it. And he's like, you need to tone it down. No, fuck you. I'm not toning down nothing. This is who I am. And if you find this too gay, I got news for you. Touch grass. Like I've got some gay friends. If I invite them over, it's going to be pink and rainbow shit all over the place. And I love them for that. And I would have them on my stream. Get gayer. I might just get gayer sketchy. I might do videos about who I want to fucking have sex with. They're like, oh, this guy's hot in Hollywood. I want to bend him over and do all kinds. Like, let's get real fucking gay. Like, why not?
Holy shit. I have something amazing to show you guys that I just found. Holy shit. All right. So this is all right. So here you got Dexerto. I don't know anything about this thing that's originally posted here. So Twitch streamer Riley CS has beaten her viewership record by 5 times after being temporarily banned from Twitch and accused of hacking in Battlefield 6. Tension from this drama might let Riley turn her stream hobby into a full-time career. Then we got good old Jeremy Prime.
Oh, no.
Good for him. This can help. So apparently this is a trans streamer. This can help raise awareness for men suffering from mental illness.
I'm not allowed to say what I really think.
Let it play out. Let it play out. I promise it's worth it.
Culture will.
I mean, so Jeremy here hating a trans person, getting more views than him. Classic transphobes. Jeremy says, I mean, not that it really matters, but I get more than 1,500 concurrent live viewers. At least you're consistent. You just believe things even if it's not real. I respect the commitment. Wait. So, you know, just Jeremy being a fucking stupid, grifting, lying piece of shit transphobe.
Yeah.
Nothing new, but he's, you know,
Well,
it's really easy to.
Funnily enough, I can bring this back to Golden Girls. I know everybody's waiting to hear their hot take on it, but literally the last episode I watched had a character who was a trans man and reveals that they are a trans man, and even after that point, they all still use his correct pronouns. So the Golden Girls could manage it.
I actually thought that trans people didn't exist until 2015. I'm a little confused here. I thought
that was no. Eric's right. Trans people weren't
that's what I was told.
You're misremembering.
Well, in which case,
I was the first one, actually.
In which case, these Golden Girls episodes I'm watching, they must be new.
Oh yeah, that must be what it is. Maybe it's the Golden Girls revival, the new one. Yeah,
I mean, they've literally brought them back from the dead.
I had an argument on Twitter with someone that claimed they were a lesbian. I don't know if they were or not. They claimed they were a lesbian and they were an older lesbian or whatever, trying to argue with me that trans people weren't a part of the queer community prior to 10 years ago. That was the argument we were having. And that the term queer was not used as a word of reclamation ever, right? And so I pointed out that trans people have existed within the queer community for over 50 or 60 years in like media, but much longer than that in general, if like we're going to go historically. I said, and the queer nation movement started in 1991 during the height of the AIDS crisis. And they said, well, prove it. So I linked them to the literal Queer Nation website that the top of it says founded in 1991, right? And then they come back at me and they're like, I'm feeling attacked. I feel like you're not listening to what I have to say. And then they blocked me. I was like, what the fuck? Like, I'm sorry that you don't like reality. What am I supposed to do here?
Dude, their feelings don't care about your facts.
Yeah.
This is going to be huge news to the trans lady who was a World War II veteran and was widely publicised. That's going to be shocking news to her, and to the lady that did the Tron score as well, 40 years later. That they didn't exist apparently.
Also, the Wachowski sisters.
True.
Well.
True. And the British magician Faye Presto.
And Buck Angel, who was a kind of a piece of shit.
Right.
I don't know why you guys are inventing people.
Yeah, I know. I feel like if it's before 2015, it's not real.
Yeah, Buck Angel doesn't exist. He's my OC.
I just knew it.
You forgot about Blair White. We forgot about her.
Yes, oh, that's my alter ego. It's like a Jekyll Hyde situation.
That sounds like Hyde.
Yeah, so I remember Give Me a Break in the 80s, 90s TV having a trans character in one episode. Well, see, the thing is, this is that selective cherry picking that these guys do. Like, they forget all of the stuff. Dane, you've talked about this before, about the whole Aliens franchise and, Terminator and all that shit, how it's like at a certain point, they just don't, like, stuff doesn't get claimed or checked in. You know what I mean?
They grandfather it in.
Yeah.
If it's something that they already considered a classic before they were politically radicalized, then it gets grandfathered in.
This complaint I've heard about the new Alien series is that the protagonist is a woman in an Alien film.
Oh well,
wokeness gone
really
mad.
fucking up tradition there.
Yeah. That's the thing is, like, I saw they complain about that, and I'm like, they literally tried to make her look like Ripley. Like, she's even got like the similar haircut to her.
I mean, the fact that they have a woman doing the final girl role is just that's outrageous to me.
Right?
Why would you cast a woman as the final girl?
I don't want to even say the thing that I suspect that eventually they might get to. Hopefully not, but like there is an element of that character that I'm surprised they haven't tried to make a thing out of it yet. They I'll just say similar to something they did with Suicide Squad Kills the Justice League.
Okay.
That.
Yeah.
But I don't even want to say it because I don't want to give any ideas. So,
what didn't show anti-trans freak anime with these? Oh well, anime is a whole nother discussion.
We actually did this one stream. I don't know if you guys remember. We were talking about like video games and like art styles and like anime and stuff and like how based Japan is or what. It's so funny, like the way that people have this like weird, like, you know what it is? It's basically Orientalism, because it's like this kind of, they have this noble savage thesis about the Japanese where they're from like a backwards culture, but that makes them more traditionalist, which means they have correct views about women.
Right.
Is like kind of how American conservatives talk about Japanese people, which is crazy because Japan has its own pro-trans movement, its own like pro-gay movement. They have an LGBT like community. They have like marches and parades. It's like it's been a huge thing. Japan had like a socialist movement and a feminist movement like before they went like super fascy. You know, like as soon as they started like westernizing it all, they developed like a ton of competing political movements. And even then, the role of women in Japan has never really been totally analogous to a lot of Western societies. Like I think the first ever recorded ruler of Japan is a woman, Queen Pimiko. I studied Japanese history, by the way, when I was in school. I only took it was for a minor, you know, so it's whatever. But this is I'm just kind of going off memory here a little bit. But like, I don't know. It's really just like a kind of model minority benevolent Orientalism kind of racism.
I would love to talk about that. Like, this sounds very interesting to me. I'm sitting here listening to you and I'm like, that would be great for the conversation for us to have on a stream together. I feel like we could talk for hours about some of this stuff. It's really like deep stuff, I feel like.
So I have another quick thing, Reddit thing here. Sorry, I'm kind of perusing Reddit.
It's okay.
I have to go pretty soon, actually. But here's a quick thing. There's Critical Drinker. It's talking about Superman. This is before, where this is in. People are so mad about it. This is what I don't get. Like, people are so determined to defend this movie and claim it as a win. Okay. No one's even talking about it.
Yeah.
Now, basically, we're just covering it because we're wrapping up our coverage of it. And the fact that it's going digital, but like there's no fan enthusiasm for it as far as I can see. It's like the two of the strategies of a grifter right there. You know, there's the fact that it's, you know, just talking shit on the first place, but then there's the other one, which is you know, nobody's even talking about it, right? Like that.
Yes,
it's just one of the most obvious ones they use.
It's nice. It's nice at least that. It's nice at least they're making the excuse that, oh, we're only talking about it because we're wrapping up our coverage of it. It's like, as if
why are you covering it?
Excuse. Yeah.
Yeah. Chevany here makes the comment: the far right envy Japan for its more traditional ways and homogeneous population. Chariot, I would love to talk about that, like the way Japan is, like in terms of its diversity versus how the right looks at that. That would be.
I mean, look. This is look, this comment here is this is true. That's what the Critical Drinker does. You're right. That's what they do all the time. They talk about they're more popular than them because they're upsetting spaghetti.
The Birdman's already beaten us to it. He's already done a video covering that Superman coverage that those images are from, and he does an excellent job of debunking it all. But yeah, it's just crazy that the levels of cope they have to come up with. Why do people want a film to succeed? This way of thinking is crazy for me. I don't know why the Critical Drinker has that mindset about anything, especially when his own film was such an unmitigated disaster.
Yeah, it's an objective 4.5, I think, on Metacritic. Is that right?
4. Oh, I was about to say, I think it's 4.2 on IMDb.
Well, I only have about 5 more minutes myself, so I don't know how long y'all are staying on.
Just want to say as well, some of the adverts that I get on YouTube, one of them is definitely the Birdman doing the VO for it. So he's getting work outside of YouTube. So because I know he was a voice actor, he's mentioned it in a video that he does voice acting. That's the first time I've heard him.
Speaking of voices, did we ever set up like a speak pipe for the Shillcast for voicemails?
No, we did not.
Oh, okay.
I didn't want to. I figured we'd you do yours first. I don't want to just like all of us try it.
Well, the canary in the coal mine on this one.
Yeah, on your channel.
Let me see if I have any new ones. They were all like so. The speak pipe thing is for my AMA, where I'm supposed to get people to like leave voicemails for me, and then I
you keep alluding to the fact that you can't use them.
They're bad. Like, okay, so to give you an example of some of the ones I've had, I've had about 6 or 7 of them. The first 3 that I had was somebody making fun of Beta Bird or Alpha Eagle, like pretending to be him in the voicemail, and I knew it wasn't him. And so I couldn't use those because I couldn't determine if it was or wasn't him, and they were overacting. So I'm like, this is definitely not him, right? Okay. Then the other ones I got were, one of them you could hear a music playing in the background, so I couldn't use that one because there was copyrighted music in it. And then the last few that I've gotten have been people saying things like making fun, like the Critical Drinker really sucks, and I wish he would stop making video. Like they're fun. I like listening to them, but I'm waiting for someone to actually give me something that I can use in my AMA because I can't really use those. Look, by the way, in my AMAs, I have like 300 and some responses now. I get lots of great positive. Like, you're doing a great thing. I love your channel, stuff like that. I can't, and I shout them out as much as I can in the videos. But the ones that I get that are like, that I can use as a Q&A thing, are few and far between. It seems like a lot of people want to play around on SpeakPipe. And I don't know if that's, again, it is just, one of those things, but someone definitely has an issue with Alpha Eagle because a lot of the AMA comments I get are about him. And I don't know if it's him trying to get me to talk about him, and that's why he keeps doing it, or if it's someone else. Because it's a lot, and I've only made one video about it ever.
Man.
So
he makes videos about us all the time.
It could be him, or it could be Ted Levine in Silence of the Lambs. It's hard to tell. They sound similar to me, anyway.
No, Ted Levine in Silence of the Lambs sounds so much cooler, much better voice.
We should do. You know what we should do? We should set up an AMA for the Shillcast. And read some of them when we're live. Just go into a Google form and set up an AMA in a Google form.
We did a Google form early on where we had, it was a bit more antagonistic, so it's understandable to a degree that we got a lot of the shit we got. But it was basically we put out a thing where it was like, hey, have you been part of one of these anti-fan groups and you're not anymore, or have you been somebody that's been suffered because of them or whatever? If so, we want to hear from you. Boy, they went out of their way to prove how not toxic they are at all.
Right. No, I'm sure. By the way, I want to say, the other day in a video, someone that I hadn't seen in 2 months, Low Watermark, left a comment on one of my videos. So
I haven't seen him in a while.
Haven't seen him in ages. He's not on social media anymore. His channel's still up. But he made a comment on one of my videos, and I was like, "Oh, I haven't seen you around. How are you?" I think it was like, "Where have you been?" or something. I didn't hear back. So, but yeah, I mean, I was concerned because he just kind of vanished. But I guess he's just around, not really participating in any of the streams or anything anymore.
Well, it's probably healthy.
Yeah.
Why do you guys bitch so much about other creators instead of focusing discussion on content like your competitors? So we do talk about content.
So,
do you understand what words mean? Because the content we talk about is content.
So real quick, I can address this fairly easily. Right now, you're watching a Shillcast, where that's primarily what we do. It's like you want to complain about us doing the thing that like this format is kind of made for right now. But like, if you want to see us talk about other stuff, we do that. Like Eric has a whole channel called Eric's Reloaded where he talks about other stuff.
Yep.
I talk about other stuff on my podcast and frequently on my solo streams. I talk about comic books and movie trailers and shit like that. But you guys,
Dane has several different types of live streams during the week. Dane has three.
Dane has a fantastic video talked about the Incredible Hulk. It's amazing. It's a great fucking video. Right? Like we have so much
why
stuff
would you
like
show up and not having seen anything else by any of us, then make this question so pointedly and act like you know so much about what we do when you clearly don't? It seems to me that you would do that because maybe you're a little bit offended, triggered by the fact that we're criticizing. I mean, are you against? Are you pro? Or I guess you're against the First Amendment. Maybe you don't want people talking about things that you don't like. I guess I don't know. The real question is, why would you show up doing this, other than the fact that you just think that us criticizing these people is bad for them?
And
it's weird.
Just to bash the other creators a bit further, our channels offer something different. I don't talk about modern stuff at all on my channel. Eric talks about modern stuff, but from the news point of view. You look into the superhero news, what's happening. Bob, you tend to do you look at comics and also
talk about movies.
Movies. You review the latest movies. Dane tends to do whatever comes to his mind at the time, so it's a bit more, what's the word for it?
All over the place.
No. I was going to say free association. So
I do 2 3-hour live streams a week that literally never talk about chuds. 2 3-hour streams where we might mention a chud name in reference to something we're talking about, but literally not talking about chuds.
You know what this reveals is that he is just a victim of the algorithm, meaning he has not sought out any other content, like for your other channel or anything like that. He's just like, this is what's put in front of me. That's reality. That's it.
Well, okay, cry more about Melanie Mac. How many Melanie Mac videos have I made? Like 1 in the last 5 months? I don't even know what that
let me also introduce another idea. Let's suppose everybody on the panel, all we do is anti-chud videos. That's all we do. So the fuck what?
No, I agree.
We're being honest.
Yeah. My Debunks channel, that is the literal goal of the channel. Like, it would be like going into Burger King and getting mad that they sell hamburgers. Like, it just doesn't make sense. Go to another restaurant. But also, saying I cry more about Melanie Mac, I'm just curious, what does that even mean? I like, Melanie Mac videos on my channel get limited and demonetized every time I make them. So I don't talk about her very often. I don't like the idea that they come in and shut down the visibility on my channel. So I've stopped talking about her. On top of that, she's dying. Like, their channels are dying. I typically avoid channels that are on the downswing in a major way. Melanie Mac is one of them. She's literally on the way out because she has burned so many bridges that I don't even have to talk about her. She's a clown within her own community. Like, there's almost no point in talking about her.
I also want to say point too. Chariot. Sorry.
At what point is the content? Sorry.
I just want to mention I didn't say Chariot's content as well, which is video essays that, as far as I know, generally don't talk about the chuds at all.
Sometimes.
Well,
sometimes they do, but not. That's definitely not the focus. So to say that's all we do.
But yeah, to point out here, like, so you're talking about, you said that to talk about just the content, like the creators were talking about, right? So Nerdrotic doing a review about some Disney Plus show or MCU film, spending the first 3 quarters of that video talking about the financial history, which often contains lies and distortions of Disney. That's talking about the content. That's talking about
this is
whether
almost always on a video labeled review.
Yeah.
Half of Critical Drinkers reviews are him recapping the plot
exactly.
of the film.
Yeah, 50% of it. 50% of it. Yep.
I appreciate you showing up and asking that dumb question, because it gave us a little exercise here to stretch our legs with some chud bullshit here at the end of the show.
I also want to point out, you say you've watched plenty of them, but you also watch plenty of my. If you watch plenty of my content, you would know, number one, that I have a whole different channel dedicated to non-chud stuff, and I do 2 live streams a week dedicated to non-chud stuff. So I don't know what channel you're watching. That the only thing I talk about is Melanie Mack, which I don't know why her specifically. I talk more about other people.
Melanie Mack channel.
We didn't mention Critical Drinker till like a few minutes ago for like 2 minutes.
Right.
You know what I mean?
Jesus
That was one of the
Christ.
things.
There's a few people I've harped on recently, but I typically go in waves. Like I'll talk about somebody for like a month or something, and then I'll find someone else I want to talk about for the next month. It just really depends. Right now, I've been talking mostly about Jester Bell and Ranting for Vengeance recently. Those are the channels that I've really been diving into. So
I bet you are happy to help, because you are a nameless, faceless person. If you actually had to be responsible for the shit you said, you'd probably be pretty embarrassed right now, because of we just kind of thoroughly stomped your ass and everything you fucking said. On that note, you guys are great. Subscribe to all these people. And sorry, go ahead, Bob.
I was just gonna say, if we're gonna go ahead and do a wrap up, I'm live tomorrow. I have my Tyrone Magnus video is up for members right now. It'll go live on Friday. If you want to see it early, you have to be a member.
let me know if he flagged you, by the way. He flagged
I am
me.
kind of interested. I will 100% make a video and top out on live stream if he flags me, because that could be fun. But if you don't want to do that, look at my Star Trek Deep Space Nine video. Which, by the way, doesn't even talk about Chud, not once. Just saying. But yeah, plenty of content. In theory, I'm gonna be debating somebody about the Mahler video. If not, I'll probably just bring you up to chat to ask what they would like me to cover. But that's what's going on over here.
It's I guess your question there, Philip. But the thing is, with the guy like that, when they show up and they ask that question, they're coming from the perspective of either they literally don't think that they're grifters, or they know they are, and they're just trying to sow discord in our chat. So I mean, asking that question doesn't really get to the point of what he's coming at.
And the fact is, if you don't see the value in telling the truth behind their lies, then you're lost in the sauce already, aren't you?
Yep. And if that's true, look, if you don't like our content, first of all, watch our videos anyway. You just keep watching. Watch Chariot's videos. All these people are down in the description. Whatever channel you're watching it on, it's all linked there as always. Subscribe to them. There's other channels as well. You should check them all out. Good stuff, good content, good people. And if you don't, for this guy in particular that we were just talking to, I guess we can just say, well, fuck, hold on. I changed it. I gotta fix it. All right, here we go.
So if you want me to cover somebody, make sure to be in chat tomorrow. Bring them up in chat, and I'll pull them up in the poll, and then it'll be whoever wins the poll.
I'll cover Dexter Resurrection on fucking Friday, man.
We actually have 2 super chats here to go over. I don't know who's getting them. Oh, it's still in chilling. Be gay, do crime, tax evasion, it's badass. True.
Okay.
And then peace, love, and Canada and Slava Ukraine. Okay. Thank you for the super chat.
Say I'm more pro tax the rich than I am pro tax evasion.
True.
I mean, tax evasion. Actually, taxes are pretty fucking necessary, which is whenever they're not applied very well right now.
Unless you are rich, you won't get away with tax evasion.
Right.
Either.
Right.
Mm-hmm.
Irony. All right. Yeah.
Anyway. The one thing I did want to say is everybody check out the new trailer for Fallout Season 2, which
I saw that.
Oh yeah,
I'm sure that guy will be waiting for Geeks and Gamers to point out how many women and people of color there are in it, because that is the type of reviewing content that they want. But it looks really good.
Yeah, it does.
Season 1 was awesome, so yeah, I'm pumped.
Justin Thoreau looks perfect as well.
Wow, that seems like not that long ago. But that was the one where literally the trailer is what Griggs was doing the whoa
diversity.
That's what it was. Diversity. Oh god damn it!
All right, I got to get out of here. So
yeah, y'all have a good one.
Yeah.
That one guy in chat in particular.
Enjoy the negative grift, guys. I'm out.